that doesn't, because you're at 6.
4.
I'm 5'8".
I thought you're 5'9".
No, well, I've been measured at 5'7", 5'8", and 5'9". I think 5'8" is the most consistent.
We respect short kings here.
I'm not a short king. I'm an average king.
Well, actually, I think 5'9" would be, I think, average. So you're not far
So
off,
I'm below average.
technically. But
That's
they got those, you get the high heels for guys. You ever see those, the inserts that go in your shoes? They have these inserts that go in your shoes. Let's just start. No, let's not talk about your height on the podcast. We don't want to.
It's all right. I'm not ashamed of how tall I am.
I am.
I think it's the ideal male height.
Are we live?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Welcome.
What is up, YouTube?
Welcome to the Stuck at the Airport podcast.
I'm Anthony.
I'm Kyle.
All right, so we were talking about the ideal male height already.
5'8".
I don't think 5'8's a bad height.
I don't think it's a bad height.
Because how much do you weigh?
180.
And you are plenty filled out. I'm 188 pounds.
Yeah, you weigh more than
And
me.
I look like a praying mantis on like crack.
That's the nice thing about being short. It fills out muscle better.
Yeah, like you look laterally as good as you do. What's this one? Vertically.
But it seems like women like the tall, lanky, emo kind of deal.
I think
or
that...
more, or preface that a little more.
I wonder. I think that all they care about is if the guy's taller than they are. So like when they say, I want like a tall guy, to them, you would be tall if they were 5'2".
Swiping through Tinder, I would see girls that are like 5'11". I'm like, holy shit.
That's scary.
That's tall. That's very tall.
That make me insecure because they would make my member.
It doesn't
look
make... I don't... Like, they could be crazy attractive, but if they're 5'11", I'm probably skipping.
Yeah, I feel bad for them.
Even if I did swipe, like... What's the correct way? Left?
Left is like...
If I gave them the check mark, I'll go with that. If I gave them the check mark, chances are they wouldn't give me the check mark. No, I'm 5'8". No, he's too short.
The unknown love of my life, you know who it is, the GameStop girl, is 5'9", 5'10".
So she's taller than me.
Yeah. But she's very beautiful to me.
I wouldn't swipe on her.
That's the good thing about being tall. Like, I mean, yeah, I don't like go after girls that are tall, but they're not taller than me, I guess.
Yeah, usually no one is taller than
Yeah.
me.
Like whenever I see a picture and there's like a guy and a girl and the girl's like 3 inches above him, I'm just like, it's weird. It's just weird.
It is kind of weird, I guess.
But we were just talking about they make high heels for guys, heel inserts. So if you're a short king and you're listening to this, I'm gonna save you some inches. Not in that way, but they make a 2-inch or like 1 or 2 inch insert that goes into like the soles of your shoes. Obviously,
yeah.
they just switch the sole out and you can't even tell, and it raises you up like 2 inches.
Wouldn't that like compress the top of your foot towards the shoe more?
Yeah, I guess if it was like a tight shoe.
I guess, you could just unlace it a little bit.
You could, or you could just get a shoe that had more space in it. I don't know. A lot of guys wear those.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how many, but I see that. Like,
I don't think a guy's going to say that he's wearing them.
No. On social media, it's popular.
Interesting.
And you see the guy that got surgery to make himself 6 feet tall?
Yeah, his legs look... I don't know I can't remember if they looked weird, but yeah, he got taller.
Doesn't that like makes my legs hurt watching? He's stretching them out a millimeter per day, I think.
I wonder if it would make you like disproportional to your upper body.
Like his arms are like T-Rex arms, and he's
because his arms aren't gonna grow anymore.
I think you'd have to have like relatively long arms for your height to make that work. Well, I feel like you could end up in a wheelchair with that surgery. Wouldn't that be like? There's no like.
I feel like it weakens your muscles. You're stretching them out, right?
Yeah, you're not supposed to do that. Like your tendons, your ligaments.
Yeah, that's not. I like to keep those intact and where they're at, and not stretched, and no strain on those.
Being tall is overrated. I promise. I can't fit in shit.
We were at work one day. It was me, Alex, and Denny, and we were standing on these wood planks that were probably 6 or 7 inches tall, something like that. And I was standing on top of them, and I'm like, wow, this is great. Like, you have a good view.
You do have a
I
good
can
view.
see things.
That's true. That's positive.
Because with those axles like stacked up 6 high, I can't see over those. When I was standing on that, I could see over them. It was crazy.
Yeah, I'm never down there, so.
You got to shrink down to like ideal male height level.
5. Ideal, okay.
5'8".
6 feet tall, I think would be like ideal. If I didn't give a height.
I think six is good.
because everything is made for you, but like nothing's too big or too small, I guess.
It is nice being like 5'8" because I can fit in smaller places. Like when I fly with my dad, sometimes some of the cockpits can get pretty small,
Yeah,
so I'm comfortable in there. Tall people might have a very hard time.
like in my Volkswagen.
I'm sure that was difficult.
Let me give a representation.
I could not drive with my knees up
My hands
or like
were,
in the steering wheel.
my
I
hands
couldn't
were
do it.
like inside of my legs. I hated it. Like even if you were 6 feet tall, you'd be like, "This is cramped. This is not like cool," and it was so like uncomfortable.
How was the GTO?
Way better because you can lower it.
I guess the thing about
Way better.
sports cars is they're catered to the front people.
Mm-hmm.
So that what I say in my car, people are like, "Oh, you have 4 seats." I'm like, "No, I have 2 seats with a mild addition of a bench in the back."
You know why they do that?
Because it's not. Is it insurance reasons?
It is cheaper for insurance if you have 4 seats, and they save money. I forget how. Like government wise, they get up.
That's fine with me. I mean, they still cater to like the front seats. The back, I don't give a shit how much space is back there. It's really just there for that reason, like you said.
Yeah.
The front is where all the space is at. But in your Volkswagen, was that 4 doors?
Yeah. And I
That's the
couldn't
issue.
sit behind myself. In my GTO, I have a coupe sports car with 2 doors. I can sit behind myself in my back seat without
In the
my,
GTO?
I swear to God, without my knees touching. Because I've been like driven home drunk off my ass, and I had to sit in the back, and I was Gucci. I swear to God, it has way more space than people realize. Like it's usable.
I think I've had to sit in the back of my car a few times. It's cramped. For me, being 5'8", it's not bad. For my tall friends, they're like, no way.
Yeah, I've done this. I've sat in the back of a Mustang.
They're very cramped in the back.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah, so Pontiac went crazy with it. They said, we're going to give everyone space here.
They did, and the other one they have a G8. I have a GTO. There's a G8 that's even bigger, but it's 2 doors.
Your car is pretty long.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the appearance of it. Like I don't hate them. I think they look good modified.
I used to hate them a lot. And when I saw yours, I had a little bit of a different opinion. I mean, I prefer the older muscle car looking ones.
Yay!
Those ones look good. Those old GTOs. My friend's grandpa has one from the 70s. It's clean as fuck.
The
It's so
interiors
nice.
are really like I don't know, like cozy, homey feeling.
Yeah, that's like, I don't know. I like it. I
I
like
miss
the outside
the
appearance
interior
too.
of like old cars.
I like the interior of new cars. I think the exterior of new cars is getting boring. So is the paint. The paint fucking sucks nowadays.
You see, like they did a comparison of like cars from like the 70s, 60s, 70s to today, and everything is so grayscale now.
It's so boring.
Why?
I don't know.
Why are we so boring? McDonald's, Wendy's, everything was so colorful when we were kids, and they zapped the color.
It's
out
like
of it.
the modern style of architecture. It's just, I think it looks good. It's just kind of boring a little bit.
Yeah, it's, the 1984 book is coming to fruition. Everything gets dull
Finally.
and colorless.
I do. There is one color that they have nowadays that I really like. There's 2 actually. One is on newer Chevys, like I think 2021 and up. It's like this blue tealish.
I
Or
mean,
like-
I know what blue teal is. I'm just not thinking of the Chevy.
It's really like, see that seafoam over there?
I love seafoam. That's like one of my favorite colors.
I
of all
love
time.
that. That's a really nice color. It's like that. It's darker, and it has a little more blue tinge to it.
Okay.
It looks really nice, and the like a matte flat gray that they put on like muscle cars.
It looks really good on
Challengers.
muscle cars.
Yeah, that's a Dodge color. I really like that.
Gray with like black stripes.
Yes.
I agree. But come on, guys. Can we have back like our burnt orange and candy apple reds?
I would love that.
Midnight blues.
Like yellows, oranges, blues.
Yeah.
I want it all.
Color makes me happy.
I'm a very big fan of style of cars, and it's very lackluster now.
Yeah, you can always wrap it.
You could always wrap
Only
it.
costs like $5,000 and lasts for 3 or 5 years.
Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah.
Only way I'm wrapping my car is if it's getting covered in anime girls.
Cringe.
No, Yatashas are based.
Cringe.
I was looking at I've been looking at K trucks recently.
K-Trucks fuck.
They're fucking cool, and they're not expensive to import.
No. I wonder if I would fit in one. And can you fit a motorcycle in the back of them? How long is the bed, you know?
I'm sure I could find the measurements, but I guarantee you can probably fit a bike. Like
I wonder.
at least sports bikes.
Yeah.
I think
Even if you put it
cruisers are probably
diagonal.
longer. Diagonal, I think you'd definitely
Yeah.
be able to fit.
I want one.
They're like 4 to 8,000.
Why not? Why, give me a reason not
That's
to
what
get
I'm
one.
saying, and it's like the import fees aren't even that expensive.
They're good on gas. They're cheap. They're easy to maintain because there's nothing to them. They're you could argue practical. For some people, they'd be impractical.
I think for me, it
for
would
us
be,
it'd be fine.
for me it would be actually pretty impractical. Like I live in this city, what am I gonna fucking do with it? But I'm not concerned with practicality in a K truck. I just want it,
Yeah, they're cool, and it doesn't have to be your only vehicle.
right? It would just be the fun K truck. Like you would have a K truck.
However, in place of the K truck, somebody could get a sports bike.
Yeah,
was-
they could.
Hmm.
Although
Who could that
the
be?
K truck is cheaper than most sport bikes.
Yeah. Well, new. You can get a used like. Well, you want a 600?
600 probably. Honestly, 600 or 1,000, whatever I find and like. But I'm not in the market right now. It's gonna have to wait. I just picked up another large bill next month. That's not gonna be fun.
I want you to get a sports bike.
You don't even have a bike.
Shut up. I got fairings today. I'm gonna put it back together.
I want to help.
You can help.
I'll help.
No, it's all right. I don't want you to help.
That's fine. It's not like I put on fairings on a Ninja 650 before.
Yeah, he never has. I have.
I don't have the experience doing it.
It's not like I tried and broke the fairing.
I wonder what was up with that. Do you think the frame of the bike was mildly warped, or the fairings were just shit?
I mean, it's possible, but the way that it was wrecked, I didn't wreck it. A certain somebody else did. The way that it was wrecked, I don't see how it could have caused for any frame warping. I mean, it wasn't. We were going 30 miles an hour, and it slid on the side for like 10 feet on cement, and the rest in grass. Didn't flip or anything. I mean, it could, but I don't think.
When I was putting on my exhaust, I dropped my bike. Very
Mm.
embarrassing. I
It
was
happens.
like, dude, I'm fucking stupid.
I dropped the Gixxer, and I backed it up into a sign with Mitchell.
That's not bad. What did the tire take most of the brunt?
No,
Oh, it was the rear fender.
It hit the. There's like if you look on the rear of it on the tail, there's like quite a significant blemish, but it's not mine anymore.
Yeah, you don't even own it anymore.
Nope. I wish I did. I miss it. We love motorcycles. For those of you that don't know, it's like I love motorcycles. He likes fake motorcycles.
Mitch, I've had my. You don't even have a license. I have a license.
You don't need a license on a 1000.
You sure do. The issue, I was telling this to Tim, the issue is you can outrun as much as you want. But the issue comes to when you're at like stop signs
This is all hypothetical.
or on city roads.
Yeah,
They're going to know the guy who keeps running.
I agree with you.
And then
I
like
thought about it.
magically, they're like, oh, he's there at that stoplight. And then when you get in an actual like chase, like if you blow by him and then he'll come out, that's one thing. An actual chase on a city road, that's when people die. There's this crazy fucking video I showed Dennison. I think it was in LA. This guy was running from the cops on his bike. He was probably doing $120 or
Was
so.
it filmed from a chopper?
Yeah. You know, the car pulls out in front of him. He goes ragdolling.
Yeah.
Like, damn, that dude got smoked.
That's literally. I mean, I know Alex was mad at me because I sold it to Mitchell, but that's part of the reason that I sold it was just because I was unable to control my throttle hand. I say in my head before I get on the bike, I'm going to behave. I'm not going to act like
It's easier said than done.
It's because
Especially your bike has so much power.
It's people that have never full throttled like a super sport bike. It's like one of the best feelings in the world.
That
I'm not even
sounds cool.
joking. It's amazing because it's like you can't explain it. It's so visceral, and your mind can't even keep up. Like your mind's back here, and you're 300 feet down the road. Like it's so fast. It's so like addicting. Not even going fast. Not even going like 180. That's stupid, but it's not as fun as just accelerating on the bike.
Just accelerating and getting up to speed, to me, is the fun part.
Yeah, it's so much fun.
Because if you're just cruising at 180, I mean, you're just cruising at 180.
Lane splitting at 165, 170.
That is no different than 180. I mean, once you get past like, I think probably 140 to 180, it just, to me, is all the same. It's just fast.
I would say
The word is just fast.
it is fast. I would say 140 though. Okay, so if you were going 180 and you bucked it down to 140, you would notice a difference in your reaction time. I mean, obviously, but you would
Yeah.
you would notice because you feel like you're going slow now.
That's how when I would ride home some nights. I mean, me and you would ride and we hit like 120-ish.
This is hypothetical scenarios. We have
But
not done
when you
such
when you
things.
get back down to like normal speeds, it just feels like you're just putting along.
Don't you feel kind of like frustrated?
Yeah, I'm like, damn,
I
this
get
is
that feeling.
really slow.
Like I get angry if I say I'm stuck behind a car that's say I'm on a street and the speed limit's 45 and the car's going 45 or 50 and I'm stuck. I'm mad.
I get that on a bike
But
especially.
that's not good.
I just want to go around them, and it is very easy to speed on a sport bike
Oh,
at least.
You don't even
Very
realize
easy.
it
You don't.
sometimes.
'Cause if I go to the gym, I just go down Whipple. It'll take me 5 minutes, but I'm not doing 40 there.
No.
I'm going, and I'm going around cars that I think are going too slow. I'm not doing like 80 on Whipple or anything. Well, it's a very busy time when I go. 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's not.
I think I have the
Fun.
world record for Whipple. I'm
Well,
not joking.
What'd you get on Whipple?
Theoretically 172.
That's fucking fast.
So stupid, but
That is
That's what I'm
4
talking about.
times over the speed limit.
I was with Mitchell.
The issue-
Yeah.
Also, the big issue with that is intersections.
Yeah.
On the highway, that's
I
one
agree.
thing. It's still stupid on the highway.
Yeah,
get
don't
me
speed
wrong.
in the city.
Yeah, but like when the intersections are involved and other cars, seeing a motorcycle do 170 and you're stopped and you're looking both ways, you're probably not going to catch it.
Yeah, I agree. I've never had a really close call, fortunately, by some miracle. But I think sometimes I go so fast that cars can't react. I think if they were able to react, it'd be more of an issue. Like say I'm theoretically lane splitting on the highway. If I'm doing it at 100, I feel more unsafe than if I was
Vulnerable.
doing it at like 160 because they don't have time to react. If they see you coming,
You're gone.
yeah, because they're gonna react. They're gonna get scared and do something.
What you'd have to look out for is the people who don't see you and just like, oh, I'm going to merge into the left lane now. There's no one coming. Then they slowly get over.
There's so many calculations that you ever do that, like not that, but have you ever like lane split on the highway or going quickly?
Yeah.
You're like
Not at those speeds, but
yeah, your brain is going through so many like calculations almost. It's exhausting. Like you get a headache sometimes because what I'm thinking of is I'm looking at like people's hands or trying to see them in their cars while I'm going through them and like predicting almost what they're doing. It's like
Yeah.
a sixth sense.
I'm like looking at their tires
Mhm.
relative to the lane. I'm like, okay, looks like they're maybe going to move over. I'm like, okay, I want to stay away from that. Maybe I'll get over this way, avoid that person. I kind of do the same thing when I'm driving. Like, notice when people are shifting in their lanes. I'm like, are they going to move or are they going?
Do you think that's normal or do we just have anxiety? Because I feel like so many people are so brainless when they drive.
I think a lot of people are brainless
There's
when
no
they drive.
thought process.
This dude the other day, I pulled out from my house and I made a right onto Whipple. And he came up behind me in a Buick. I mean, I didn't cut him off. I was not like nearly that close, but he was probably doing 50. I got up to like 40, 45. And then he goes right around me and then cuts me off like real hard. Then hits his brakes and gets in the left lane to turn. I'm like, dude, you weren't even in front of me for over 5 seconds. There was no reason for you to go around, cut me off, and get in that lane. So I honked my horn at him, gave him the bird,
The
and went
bird
on
is
my
the
merry
word.
way.
Yeah. People just, I don't know, man. They'll look at you. They ever look at you while pulling in front of you?
Oh yeah,
I hate
they
that.
know. The thing they know they're being an asshole.
Yeah.
They're like, oh yeah, fuck this guy. I'm gonna pull in front of
I
him.
swear. I had that happen in the GTO. Like, I was so far behind and I saw him there and there's nobody else coming and I was like, he's going to pull out in front of me. I know it. And he was so far ahead of me and I just had this feeling. And as soon as I got close, right in front of my ass, I'm just like, are you fucking serious?
Like, I'm gonna lock eyes with this dude.
He
and
did.
get right in front of him.
It was sexual tension for a moment. I'm not going to lie. It was
Should've
bricked
fucked
up.
him.
You know what? I'm going to call him. But, all right, yeah, anyways. Let's get on podcast topic here.
That is everything's podcast.
Everything's
topic.
podcast
Nothing's out of
topic.
bounds here.
But I got things I want to fucking talk about.
I do
God,
too.
God
we
damn
got
it.
time on our side.
Yeah, we do,
We started this on time, pretty much.
which is good.
There's going to be no technical difficulties. This is going to be the first. What is this, episode 4?
4 or 5.
Yeah, I got to upload 3 tomorrow.
Bro, slacking.
Hey, this one will be so easy to edit. It's just a click, click, click.
Yeah. Their first couple were.
The first one, can't remember if the first one sucked.
Yeah.
Second one was a little easier, I think. Third one was pretty easy. And this one will be cake. I got a good feeling about it.
You got a feeling
I do.
tonight's gonna be a good night?
No, is that the Black Eyed Peas? Who
Yeah.
sings that?
Black Eyed Peas.
I fucking hate the Black Eyed Peas.
Dude.
We were talking, Tim today was giving us the rundown on technology from the 80s and 90s. We started talking about iPhones and stuff, and he was like, yeah, I had the first gen iPhone when it came out. I was like, damn, that's a fucking dinosaur.
No, I'm surprised.
Yeah.
Because not a lot of people
He still has it.
Is that worth money?
Probably
Oh, I know.
not yet, at least.
Sealed ones are like 30 or 40 grand.
His is definitely not sealed.
That'd be crazy, though, if it was.
That would be nutty.
Who would think to seal that? Like, keep it sealed.
Yeah, like I wouldn't buy that device. Like this new fangled device comes out, I'm not going to buy it and just look. You're going to stay in the box. It's like buying a Quest when they first came out, the first gen Quest.
I wonder if those are going to be like 30 grand in 20 years.
I don't think so, because my buddy got
They suck.
There's this, I want to say it's an Android console. It's called I think it starts with a V. I'll have to ask him, but he got one for Christmas because he mentioned it a while ago and my friend got it for him. This thing looks goofy as fuck, and it's not worth shit. I mean, it's not sealed in a box, but
Why would anybody
just collectors like these weird things.
buy an Android console?
It's a console. It's so fucking funny. I'm going to have to ask him what it's called.
Oh, you know what? I can't shout him. I
Yeah,
have
I'll text him.
an Android operating system
Oh, no.
handheld. It's the emulator, Anbernic.
And I feel like an emulator is different. That has how many games on it?
Thousands.
Yeah, that's totally different.
7,800.
I don't know what
Isn't that
this
crazy?
thing was used for. What's that?
There's so many companies that had really obscure consoles.
There's been a lot of consoles. I just asked him. Maybe he'll get back to me.
I'm
so
interested.
it looked so fucking weird. I'd never heard of it. Oh, that's him.
Bro, that was fucking on demon time.
The Ouya. It's called the Ouya. Let me look this thing up. I'll show you a picture of it.
I could like envision a commercial being like kids opening it and be like, "Ooh yeah."
This is the Ouya. That little box you see is the console itself.
3.9 out of 5 stars, $200. What does it do?
I don't know. I have no idea what
Does it
games.
have cartridges? Can you play like Skyrim on it? Cyberpunk 2077?
What fucking games can you play on the Ouya?
The most powerful device ever created?
I just asked him what games does it have. It
Probably
just
like
looks so
Pong.
goofy. Who made it? Let's go to the Wikipedia. The Ouya, serialized as Ouya, is an Android-based microconsole developed by Ouya Inc. Founded in 2012, bringing the design.
Sounds like a record label. Ooh yeah.
It raised $8.5 million, becoming the website's highest-earning project in its history. Release date was 2013.
Bro, it's gotta do
Lifespan was
something.
2 years.
What the fuck to do? If they got that much money, that shit's gotta do something cool. Like,
It sold 200,000 units.
what?
I want to see hardware reception. Free the games fund. What is that? Look at the reception.
I feel like we could invent something better than that.
Better than the Ouya.
Yeah.
You think we could outdo the Ouya?
I think we could outdo it. We could call it the OU or something.
The OU.
Hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of weird. There's you ever see the world's smallest emulator?
No.
It's so cool. It's like, it's so unusable. It's more of like a novelty, but it's like literally this big, and you can play PS1 games on it.
That's kind of neat.
I know. I wonder what the technology will be like in 20 years. Like, the problem with emulators right now, I have a Steam Deck, which is like one of the kings of the emulation world. But if you don't, and you wanted to buy a device that was only like emulation, PS2 games are hard to emulate. Like, there's not many things that can emulate PS2 that you're not going to pay the same price for a Steam Deck. Like, I don't understand why you wouldn't just buy a Steam Deck. Why would you pay $400 for a PS2 capable emulator?
Yeah.
And
Especially when
GameCube.
PS2 games are old, and I mean they're fun. I had a lot of fun playing my
Favorite
PlayStation
PS2
2.
game, go.
The Jack series, like Jak and Daxter, Jak and Daxter 2, Jak 3.
I never played it.
I fucking love those games.
SSX3 Tricky, the
SSX.
snowboard game.
I had this back in the day when I had my PlayStation 2. I had this demo disc. It was a disc with a ton of demos on it from different games. One of those games was SSX or SSX.
SSX.
SSX. I played that all
Sex
the time.
tricky.
I remember the dude who I played as. He had like an orange coat and this huge bulbous hat.
Ooh, I forget his name. There was Mac, that was the kid. I forget his name. I know who you're talking about.
I just had so much fun playing it.
What's his name? Whatever. Yeah, that bro, 3 Tricky was. Why can't I think? Okay, I want to bring up something that I really want to talk about. I'm happy that we have this venting podcast because I'm fucking pissed.
About
Video games.
what about him?
I feel like in today's world, especially on console, computer not as bad, like Steam. Games back then were geared towards fun. So many games now are geared toward realism, and I feel like they lost a little bit of charm. You know what I mean? Like these games were more like you could hop on and play. A lot of games now, not all games, but a lot of games, like if you hop on, you have to commit for like an hour minimum. Like back in like I don't know, like 2000, like you could hop on like Driver or SSX or Jak and Daxter or whatever, Crash, play for 20, 30 minutes, like hop right in, no worries, no stress, and back out. And I feel like games lost a bit of their like, I don't know, their color, like the cars.
Games nowadays are so competitive. It makes them not fun.
Yeah, I agree.
I hate playing a game with like sweaty ass people. Like I'm just trying to shoot or whatever it is, just have a good time playing.
They got belly button lint.
Yeah, I hate it. Like Overwatch, I had a lot of fun playing that when the first one came out.
CS:GO, Overwatch.
CS:GO was probably just so toxic and sweaty. I don't think anyone plays that just for fun.
No,
I think people who play that,
they're all depressed.
yeah, they hate the game.
They hate
They
themselves.
just are addicted to it.
Yeah, World of Warcraft's fun.
I never played World of Warcraft.
I did when I was younger for a little bit. Like I can see how people get like lost in that. People get lost in that game. Like they lose their life to that game.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane. Like literally, I had
There's a South Park episode about it.
Yeah, but it's true. Like the one where he Cartman shits in the bucket,
Yep.
or like all over himself.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
like, Mom.
You can't leave the game.
That's real. I guarantee real people shit themselves while playing that game. That's crazy.
You know, Rainbow Six Siege.
Mm-hmm.
That game
Tom
is just
Clancy.
sweaty as fuck.
Never played that.
It is just ridiculously sweaty if you play with like certain people. I have some friends that like get very sweaty at certain games. They get really frustrated with games easily.
Oh yeah.
I hate that. I'm like, why can't we just play the game? If you die, you die. It doesn't matter. Just have a good time.
I'm with them, dude.
I absolutely hate that. When people complain when we play video games together, I'm like, stop.
I get it. If
I'm
you're
like,
playing together with
this
somebody,
isn't fun anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Like if I was playing with people, I would be more mature. I wouldn't, you know what I mean? But like, bro.
Like I get it.
Fucking-
Sometimes bullshit happens.
No, you don't understand. I play sports games. I play all sorts of games, but I like sports.
Oh God, sweaty sports video game players are horrible.
I have raged to Madden an unbelievable amount. Like I've broken a controller, I've thrown a controller, like my new one. I've fucking screamed. I've said horrible things that I didn't mean. I've yelled at like 10-year-olds like, "You slimy fuck! I'm gonna kill your mom!" Like I'd say horrible things. It was okay. You know football. You played football.
Yeah.
Okay, say you're in a competitive match, and you got like I don't know, like a 10 game win streak or something going, and it's the fourth quarter, and you're up by like 6 points, and this fucker's playing as the Dolphins, and they have a very fast wide receiver.
Is this like 2023, 2024?
3.
Okay.
They got Tyreek Hill. He's extremely fast. He's a wide receiver. He's such a glitch. I hate fucking playing against him. I was up. I forget. It was probably like 21 to like 16 or something in the fourth quarter. 3 seconds left. He was on the 20-yard line, opposing 20-yard line. Let's just pass it to fucking Tyreek Hill and score a touchdown. Well, I feel the rage now, and it's been like a year. I was so fucking mad, and at that point, I realized, okay, we're gonna take a break from Madden, and I haven't really gone back since. Took like competitive play. I just I can't do this. It was emotionally damaging. I get it. But
That's
before I
just
didn't.
like get good L plus ratio.
That's what he
skill
sent
issue.
me. He said, "Good game, fucker." That's exactly what he said.
He's down. He's probably thinking, I can't win this. Yep. And then he does. He's like, fuck this guy.
He had that passive aggressive, kind comment. Good game.
I love it.
Fucker.
I love that.
Oh, I just blocked him. I was like, I got nothing for you. I'm going to track you down. I'm going to fucking murder your family.
I hate this shit so much.
But yeah, after that, I put it to the side because I had roid rage on Madden without the roids.
Yeah, I see people play Madden and they get very frustrated. I think that's why I don't partake in Madden. I think it's very fun to play.
It is a lot of fun.
I have a lot of fun playing it.
I like playing franchise mode. It's just like my own player.
I just play against other. I don't play online or anything. I don't even have the game. But if I'm at someone's house and let's do a quick round of Madden, I'm like, all right, that sounds like a good time. Usually they beat my ass, but it's just fun to play.
I gotta train you.
I don't want trained in Madden. I really don't want to get into any sports games.
I got my defenses down.
I don't know shit. I click buttons. I'm like, ooh, this looks good.
I would watch like 2 hours of YouTube, like studying like
Madden tactics.
Yeah, I became obsessed. Like I get it. Like how to set my defense up for like a screen pass. Like I became obsessed.
You seem to have like this hyper focus when you get into something.
And then I lose it. That's just ADHD problem.
Oh.
Doctor mentioned that today.
ADHD.
I went to the doctors today. Yeah, my everything was great, like blood work wise. My HDL, there's 2 types of cholesterol, HDL and LDL. Everybody should get their blood work checked after the age of 18 every 6 months. Please and thank you. It's good for you. Unlike somebody over here.
I'm trying.
Okay.
I'm looking for a doctor. I'm not actively searching like I should be, but
Call the one I go to.
it's in the back of my
Close
mind.
chill. But anyways, there's 2 types of cholesterol, HDL and LDL. LDL is bad cholesterol. HDL is good. And I was so high, I was out of like the normal range, which I was like, oh, that's probably not good. And apparently that is. That means you're less likely to have a heart attack.
Really?
So we're all good. I do have AIDS, syphilis,
All of it.
but that's a formality. I mean, come on.
Everyone's got it.
But oh no, I told him, like, she asked me about if I had like a hard time focusing and stuff like that, and I was like I'm able to like hyper focus, like you said. I told her that, but if I lose interest in something, like I can't get it back. Like it's so hard for me to focus. And if I don't want to do something, not happening.
Just not doing it.
I cannot do it. So I have to see like it's like a neuro. I forget what she called him, but yeah, he's gonna check my brain.
Would they put you on meds?
I don't know, maybe. I don't want to be on meds.
That's how I feel. I don't want to be on any meds.
I told her that. I was like, I'd like to explore like alternate treatment first.
Do you think you even need treatment? Is it that bad?
Oh, it's hard for me to focus. Oh yeah, since I was like 6 years old, I told her I was diagnosed with depression at like 11, and she said it's very possible that I never felt like depressed. I was told I was, so I just
feel like
thought it was.
depression comes in multiple forms. Like the form that everyone thinks about is sad, mopey, can't get out of bed.
Yeah.
I feel there's probably multiple forms of depression. It
Oh,
just
totally.
shows itself in different ways.
She said I could have been misdiagnosed, and I could have had ADD or ADHD this whole time. Because all the symptoms I described to her, she's like, that could totally be like ADHD. So I have to get fucking tested for that shit. Hey, if I get Addy, I'm going to be a fucking fiend, bro. Give me some perks, some Addy, and some lean for the fuck of it.
My buddy was on Adderall for a while.
Yeah,
He
it can
hated
help.
it.
I mean, yeah, some people hate it. One of the guys at work,
He got used to it, and his dosage kept going up. So it almost had no effect. And then it was just more and more. He's like, this sucks. He's like, I hate this so much. He kicked it. He's done.
That's good. You want to get into a bit of a conspiracy topic here about that
You know,
stuff?
Christian Guzman was addicted to Adderall for like 10 plus years.
I did not know that.
Alex was listening to him on a podcast, and he said he started taking Adderall when Alpha Elite launched, and he kicked it in 2023. He said it was ruining his life. It was ruining his relationships. He said Heidi almost left him over it.
Don't you think the steroids might have played a part, though?
The steroids, I don't think he was on steroids for a long time. The last show he did, I think he was on gear. I don't care. He doesn't look so crazy big. I've got to tell you, like,
Bro's diced when he was like 2015.
getting diced isn't the hard part.
Well, he was grainy.
It's maintaining or having mass while being
Let me see.
diced.
I'm curious because it's been a while since I've seen this guy.
I think he probably was in his last show in like 2022 or
Yeah,
2023.
I mean at his age, they're probably on TRT. I wouldn't doubt it at all. Which is technically steroids, but
I don't think gear has that much more of an effect on you than Adderall would. Adderall, I think, would fuck with you
Yeah.
so much more.
I wonder. It just depends on what they're taking. Like if he's on,
Maybe the mix of Adderall and gear.
yeah, that could exacerbate. I give up. I'd have to scroll forever. But yeah, I guess So what I was getting into, instead of Adderall, psychedelic therapy.
Like psilocybin.
I just saw my grandpa has a Fox News problem, and I often catch.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, I often hear like what they're saying, and one of the stories that they were running today was psychedelics for veterans, like psychedelic therapy for veterans. I very much buy into that notion and agree, because I've experienced that firsthand personally. Microdosing psilocybin mushrooms can change your life. I swear to God.
I've heard nothing but good things about microdosing psilocybin.
There's nothing you can get bad. There's no side effects. I'm not gonna be that bold and say there's no side effects. I didn't experience any side effects, and there's no side effects that I know of. Like you're not gonna see a fucking purple dragon like.
That's
around.
like a large dose of psilocybin. Microdosing is extremely like granular doses, isn't it?
Yep. A trip would be, I mean, you could have a psychedelic effect at like 1 gram, 1.5 grams. It's not likely. You're just gonna feel a little giddy. A trip would be 2 grams and up. Microdose would be 0.2 grams.
So there's almost nothing.
Yeah, you would feel. So I've had both. I've experimented fairly heavily with psilocybin. I like it. Don't do it. Consult your doctor. But anyways, you got to put the disclaimers out there. I don't want to get sued for my $7.16. But microdosing, 0.2 grams, literally just made the day better. It didn't have I didn't feel high. I didn't feel weird or any psychoactive effect. I just felt good. Like I had energy, motivation. I felt pleasure from like all the things I was doing that would induce that feeling usually. No, you just feel good. I like it.
I was watching this documentary a while ago, and this dude who microdosed psilocybin was on. And before he did it, he would get these things called cluster headaches.
Mm-hmm.
And supposedly cluster headaches are like the worst headache you can get.
People commit suicide.
Yeah, like completely debilitating, and they're not constant, but they're frequent. And since he started microdosing psilocybin, they completely went away. It stopped it all. But I mean, the documentary is about how it was illegal. Unfortunately for him, it's like, dude, that sucks. The thing that helps you is considered illegal, like a harmful drug. Yeah, very quotes, a harmful drug.
But here's a Perk 30.
Exactly, and I've had Percocet, and holy fuck, I was telling Dennison today,
Bro's off the Perk 30.
I got my wisdom teeth out, and me and Alex got them out at the same time, like the same day. They gave me a bottle of Percocet, and they gave him a bottle of Percocet. So we had a lot of Percocet in the house. And I would take one, because my mouth was starting to hurt, and I would feel drunk off my ass.
Can you drive on Percocet?
Fuck no, you can't do.
Are you allowed? Like, are you legally allowed?
Probably not.
Yeah, I would doubt
I
it.
felt absolutely shit-faced. I was walking around, slurring my words. I can totally see how people can get addicted to that.
Do you know how potent they were? Like what?
I have no idea what the milligrams were,
Yeah.
but they were pretty decent sized pills. And they gave me a lot of them. I think I had 50 pills per bottle, so we had like 100 pills of perks in my house.
It's crazy how they hand those out. Or they used to hand them
They
out.
don't
like
give
candy.
they don't give them out anymore.
Good.
That is good.
I have family
That
that,
shit
was
is so
personally-
potent.
Yeah. It's so easy to get addicted. Vicodin, Percocet, Ambien, Xanax. The list goes on. Like, you take one and it's like, wow, this feels good. I'm gonna take another.
I had the urge because the pain went away like less than a week after the surgery. I was fine, but I still had all these pills. I'm like, should I just keep taking them?
You like
Okay.
justify it in your head.
Yeah, I'm like, well,
Yeah.
they prescribed them to me. I have them. I don't remember. I don't think I finished the bottle. And we just kept them in the house in case anyone came down with being pretty sick or hurt. But I
Anyone
didn't.
wanted to
I didn't finish the bottle myself.
wake up in prison and not know what happened.
Yeah, or I could have just sold them off.
Yeah.
Probably
Anthony, the
would've been a
drug
better idea.
dealer, the Perk 30 dealer. I love those memes. The Perk 30 memes.
The Percocet memes are good.
They're so funny, especially the deep fried ones.
Perk 3000.
Oh, that would be crazy. All right. Anyways, don't do Percocet. Well, unless. Well,
I think it'd be kind of. I wonder if it's still hard to get Percocet. Last I heard, for wisdom teeth, they give ibuprofen.
do you think that's cutting it? Like, is that good enough? I heard like wisdom. I have to get my wisdom teeth out soon. I'm probably overdue. I'm nervous.
It wasn't that bad. The weird thing about it, so I went in, they drugged me up. I was laying down. They put the mask on. They're like, all right, count backwards from 10. I'm like, 10, 9, 8, 7. And then I woke up. But while I was out, I knew they were drilling into my teeth. I could,
I'm never getting them out.
I couldn't not feel it. But it was like someone grabbed my jaw, slinging it around. They're not, like, careful's not the right word, but I'm going to use it anyway. They're rough as fuck with your mouth. Actually, during surgeries, they're extremely rough with your body. Have you ever seen them? Like,
Hammering the.
yes, that's what it was. They were drilling. I could feel the drill, and then my head shaking around. They were rough as fuck.
Do you think that's
with
why
me.
you're sore? Like, you think they can mitigate that with not being like a fucking animal to
Yeah,
you?
right. I mean, wisdom teeth are pretty big.
Yeah, they're
And they
pretty
got.
long.
I had 4 of them.
Were they growing like they should, or were they impacted? Like growing into the side?
I think they were growing as they should have.
That's good.
But either way, I'm like, I knew they were just beating the shit out of me.
Well,
I
thanks,
couldn't,
Anthony,
I couldn't
'cause-
feel it.
Well,
But-
guess who's not getting their wisdom teeth?
It's like having a numb hand, and then you know someone's pounding
Oh,
on
that's
it.
a good analogy.
You can't feel it.
Like when you
but
sit on
know
your
it's
hand
happening.
and you jack off with it.
Yeah,
right?
like you know you're doing it,
Yeah, you're
but
right.
it doesn't feel like it's your hand.
yeah, but you can feel it. That's a good goon sesh right there.
It was a weird feeling. I
That's
remember it very
interesting.
vividly.
That's very interesting. Now I'm a little more nervous.
It wasn't bad. It really wasn't bad. I went out quick as fuck. It's 3 seconds. I was zoinked.
I don't have like a fear, but I have like I call it a minor fear of like dying under anesthesia.
That's
I'm sure that's normal.
I'm saying that's a pretty decent fear because anesthesiologists have to be very precise with how much anesthesia they give you, and you can opt in for local or what's the other one? There's like local anesthetic, and there's the other anesthetic.
I'm not sure.
I think the other anesthetic is the one you have to be very careful with.
I don't want
Just
that.
a little bit too much, and you might not wake up.
That's scary.
It is scary, and it all
But-
depends on your body weight, how much fat you have on you. There's a lot of variables that play with it.
What if they miss? Like they don't guess right.
Then they're probably getting sued by your family because you won't be there.
What do I care? I'm dead.
Yeah, well, you're dead.
I
but
want the fucking money.
your family's gonna get the money.
Fuck them. I want the money. They can have it, but I want it more. Why does good things happen to other people?
Why do good things happen to alive people?
Well, I don't know. Is there any way that they can keep you awake during it? I don't want to be awake. Never mind. I'd rather die.
I don't think you'll die.
I'd rather die than be awake during a wisdom tooth surgery. I've seen like it impacted. Like if they're impacted, fortunately mine aren't. If they are, they have to like cut your jaw. On.
Yeah, it's a surgery. They scalpel inside of your gums. They sew them back up afterwards. Yeah, it's a full-on surgery. It doesn't feel like it because I didn't go to the hospital. There's a building that way. Do you know where Culver's is?
Mm-hmm.
It's on that road. You know where the KFC is?
Yeah.
you make a left on that KFC down that road.
Ah,
That's where I went and got my surgery in one of those buildings.
you know the name of it? Like his name, the guy. I'm pretty sure like
I can't
that
remember.
I was referred to him through my dentist.
If it's the same, if it's in that area, it's probably
It
that
is in
guy.
the same area, I think.
I went in. I was fine. Alex was fine. We're alive. We're kicking. All these years later, I got him out when I was 18.
Smart. Better do it young.
Yeah. And or actually, malpractice is a great. I know someone who suffered malpractice. He went in. I can't remember what it was for. He had some pain, and he was supposed to get like an immediate surgery, and the doctor was like, "Nah, we'll do it tomorrow." And the next day, he woke up. He was paralyzed from like the waist down. So he sued the doctor for malpractice, won a fuck ton of money, which is cool, but he's paralyzed,
It ain't worth it. Some doctors are fucking morons.
right? Like,
And people don't realize that. Like, yeah, they're smart, but at the same time, they're not.
I think just because you have a PhD and your doctor doesn't make you. You could be book smart,
Yeah, book
but
smart
you can
is
still
different
be
than-
like an arrogant asshole.
Yeah, which creates that.
You think you know everything.
Yeah, I
You're
like
not
my
willing to-
doctor because like if I tell her something and she's not sure, she does tell me. Like I'm not, like she's very open. She doesn't bullshit.
That is good. Willing to admit that you're wrong, even though you have the highest level of education.
So that's interesting. But what are we gonna talk about here? We got to get into some theories, some conspiracy theories. Moon landing.
The moon landing. I did some research.
Let's get on the moon landing.
I was
Let's
watching
dive into it.
some moon landing videos. I was looking on the internet and I was Googling.
All right, give me the rundown.
All right, so a lot of the moon landing theory started popping up around the 70s. It started when it started gaining some traction. There's a lot of things people nitpick at as to why the moon landing is fake. I'm going to go through a few of those,
We'll dissect them.
and I have them, and then I have like the dissections of them as well. Because I'm not going to come in here without having an answer to my own question. Because I want to prove to you that moon landing was real and not fake. That's my goal here.
I'm with him. I believe it was real.
If you think it was fake, I'm here to change your opinion.
We buy into conspiracy theories.
Fuck yeah!
Yeah,
If
there's
you've
a
ever
lot
listened
of
to any episode of this,
Moon landing. Yeah. Well, but we're gonna get into it.
yeah,
Like
So-
and subscribe. We forgot that. Yeah, we gotta say that.
should write that right in the front. Right.
But that's okay. Like and subscribe now. Right now.
One of the big things is to beat the Russians, because the Russians were the first to have an object in space. That was Sputnik 1. They sent a dog into space. They had the first human in space. They did the first spacewalk. We were severely lacking in the space race. And then we went to the moon and put men on the moon. And people think that's fishy. I can agree that it's like, oh, well, they did all these things, then you guys just magically go land on the moon with people? Because the Russians had, I believe, landed objects up there before. But we were the first to do the man on the moon. The men on the moon. And I can see how that could be a little fishy.
Yeah.
But it also doesn't have to be that fishy unless you're fishing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, we were launching rockets. It wasn't like the Saturn V rocket and Apollo 11 was the first mission we ever launched into space. And there was a lot of other missions before that. This one's interesting. Shadows casted. It looks like they're going in like different directions compared to where the sun's at. A lot of people are like, well, that has to do with stage lighting. It's like there's rows of lights. Well, the only way this shadow could be cast that way is because there are stage lighting. It's like the sun can't do that. Well, the sun can do that, and shadows are, their perspective is based on the viewer's perspective. So if like a shadow is, if we're standing here like this, and a light is coming from this way, and you're viewing it from right here,
Making sure you can see that.
I can see that shadow is going to look like it's over here. But if your perspective changes, that shadow can also change.
That's Buzz Aldrin.
This is Buzz Aldrin when he punched that dude in the face. Yeah, and they use wide-angle lenses. This was another one. There's a lot of pictures of one of the astronauts climbing into the rover, or not the rover, the lunar module. And he's in the shadow that is cast by the module. So you'd think it would be like totally black. So the way they achieve something like that in film is if a shadow is cast and the person is behind the shadow, they have a fill light that is on the person to light them up, but you can still see that shadow being cast. So that's what people associate that with. They're like, well, there's no other, they're like, there's one light source in space, and that's the sun. But the moon's makeup is like fine particles that reflect sunlight.
It's very bright.
The moon is the fill light, and it's reflecting that light onto the astronaut. Like if you go snowboarding in the snow, the sun reflecting off the snow is extremely bright. You can get sunburn from it. It can burn your retinas. That's basically what's happening on the moon with the shadow casting and the astronaut being lit up by that fill light, which is the moon itself. Helmet reflections. This one was interesting. There's pictures of, when they take the pictures of the astronauts, it looks like in the reflection of their visors, there's like a streak of lights that would hang. You've seen those? That can pretty much just be debunked by scratches and smudges. That's pretty easy, pretty run of the mill. No, this one was this. I think this rock labeled with a C on it that I saw.
I never heard
A lot of people talked about that. It's just a picture of a rock, and it looks like it has a C drawn on it. They're like, well, they forgot to remove the label from the rock.
China.
But if you look at the actual image from NASA, it doesn't look like a fucking C, like at all. It
It's
just
like the face on the moon.
yeah. Oh, I think that's on Mars.
Yeah, you think you're right. It's just light reflection though.
This isn't even white. It just, you can see there's like a black line on the rock. It's probably a shadow because the rock is shaped weird and the sun is casting on it. But it doesn't look like a C. That image of the C on the rock, I think is probably bullshit that someone doctored. Oh, the stars one. That one's fun.
I like that one.
The
That's
star-
so easily explained.
It is. The stars. So on any images, video of the moon landing, you can't see stars. People are like, well, if they put the stars in and they did fake it, then people would be able to tell based on star navigation. It's like, okay, so we have a date for when this happened. You can look at the stars and see if those align. They can tell where they're at.
Wouldn't they have been smart enough to do that?
I guarantee a lot of people would be. Not
I mean,
okay,
like NASA.
some people.
It's fucking NASA.
But, that's right.
They're smart.
But I feel like it'd be super hard to get, because they're filming at so many different angles. So it's not just like,
Yeah.
there could be pans and you have to keep all of those things in their one spot. I feel that would be really difficult to achieve if it was fake. But the reason there's no stars, the iris and the shutter of the camera were set very high to let in as little light as possible.
Just basic photography.
Yeah, so we're letting in an extremely little amount of light, because if we let in too much, the sun is very bright.
Exposure.
Yeah, it's reflecting off of the moon itself, and it's going to overexpose every fucking photo. So we remove a lot of that light, and that drowns out the stars. We can't see them. It's like if you go to a baseball game or watch a football game and you're there, and you look up in at the sky, you can't see the stars because the light pollution is so bad. It's the same thing with cities. If you're in a city, it's very hard to see stars. If you're out in the country where there's no light, you can see the stars.
Shit's bussin'.
Man, I saw the Milky Way like in person while backpacking.
Isn't that cool?
It was fucking amazing. It was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. And I have this picture of the sunset. I did no editing to it. It's all natural. That is like the pinkest, orangest sunset I've ever seen in my life.
I love a good sunset. The
Uh-huh.
sunrises at our job are immaculate.
I know. I want to see the sunrise on Mount Fuji. It's a very popular attraction that people do.
Japan.
Yeah, they climb Mount Fuji, then they go see the sunrise.
That would go crazy.
Yeah, but it's very busy on Mount Fuji.
Yeah.
What's this one? Oh, another popular conspiracy topic is the camera footage of the lunar module lifting off. They're like, well, how can someone pan the camera up and film the lunar module if they're all in the lunar module. It's controlled by a remote. It's a remote controlled camera. I mean, just think, we got to the fucking moon. You don't think we have remote controlled cameras?
Come on, like there's nothing.
That's not.
It's just all reaching. Like they're all reaching.
They are
or something.
reaching. The flag waving one. That's a very
Very
Yeah,
popular one.
There's no wind on the moon.
The flag is constructed with these aluminum poles
Hmm.
that are rather stringy, and it is held by a string up top so it does not fall. Because the moon does have gravity. There is an atmosphere, a very thin atmosphere on the moon. And when you mess with that, the gravity is going to be acting on it less, therefore it's going to continue to move longer. So if you're fucking with it, of course it's going to move. But if you go and watch later clips of the moon landing where they're not fucking with it, it is completely still.
It's flaccid.
Yeah, it's not
It's
flaccid.
not flaccid. It's erect.
It's just, yeah, it's erect.
It's bricked up.
It's bricked up crazy like because it's on the moon. But it's not moving. So all you have to do to debunk that is watch more fucking lunar footage.
Tim actually he brought this one up today. Because we asked him like, what do you think? He was just throwing some things out
I
there.
love Tim's opinions.
I don't think he's like firmly like, there's no way we went to the moon. He's just like, oh, these are some things I heard.
Tim's a smart guy.
Yeah, he is. And this is one of the ones he brought up.
The shoe prints don't match.
That's so stupid too.
They had boot covers.
Yeah. You can find the images of them with their boot covers on. Like, that's just all over the place.
Yep.
Boot covers.
Yeah.
Oh, this one.
The technology doesn't exist anymore. Like they destroyed it. So we can't go back to the moon because the question is, well, if we went back to the moon in the 70s, it's 2023. Why can't we go back to the moon? Well, we can go back to the moon. It's just extremely difficult.
Expensive.
It's expensive.
And there's no reason.
There really is
I
almost.
mean, it'd be cool, but there's
I would
no,
like to. But the people say, like, that was the 70s. The technology now is way more advanced. That's actually part of the reason why we can't go back, because the technology is different. So in the 70s and the 60s, the machining methods and the way they got these materials and the materials they used have changed a lot in that 60 years. Like, very obviously, we don't machine things the same way that we did in the 60s. And these crafts require millions of parts, like millions to construct. Not dollars, parts. And getting these to fit that way, act the same way that they did 60 years ago, is like damn near impossible.
You'd have to have like zero tolerance machining on like everything.
You'd have to even, you'd have
which
to
is
like,
very difficult.
and just the process they did things back then gave them the outcome that they had. The process we do now could change it, while to us it's very minuscule, but to something that is traveling 39,000 miles away could have a huge effect. It's like trying to build a P-51 Mustang from World War II. Like, we can still do it. We just don't have the tools anymore to do it. It would take longer. It would be extremely expensive to get those methods back. Like, it can still be
Yeah.
done.
It's like building the pyramids. Like,
Well, we still don't even know how that was fucking done.
That's true. That's a whole other topic.
Let's stick with man-made
Right,
objects,
right.
not alien-made objects here.
Hey, we're pushing territory here. Yeah, one of the ones that conspiracy theorists, like the ones that believe not conspiracy theorists, but the people that believe the moon landing was fake, will point to Buzz Aldrin admitting that it was fake in the interviews, like on camera.
Did he?
Yes. I think we went to the moon. I think that it's interesting that he said that. Like, I can play a quick video for
I'm
our
curious. I
listeners.
want to see. I haven't seen it.
This is one of them. There's multiple.
Another big reason why you're looking that up is people that just debunks it. We went to the moon multiple times.
Seven
It wasn't
times?
just Apollo 11.
Was it 7?
Like 6 or 7, I believe.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of Apollo missions where we did go to the moon. I mean,
Was that it?
No, that was some random one.
I
Right
mean,
here.
I watched this.
That's not an 8-year-old's question. It's my question. I want to know, but I think I know. Because we didn't go there, and that's the way it happened. And if it didn't happen, it's nice to know why it didn't happen. in the future, if we want to keep doing something, we need to know why something stopped in the past that we wanted to keep it going.
You kind of sound like Joe Biden, but
I think he did say something weird in there, but I think the point he's trying to make with that is why the lunar mission stopped in the first place. So she was like, why didn't we go? He's like, well, why don't we go to the moon anymore? He's like, well, that's not an 8-year-old's question. Like, that's my question. Like, why did we stop doing Apollo missions to the moon? He did say one thing in there that was weird. He's like, if it never happened in the first
Let's
place,
see,
I
what
don't
did he
know.
say?
Maybe he's just an old senile man.
It was like right after the.
Right.
It's after this part.
That's my question. I want to know, but I think I know. Because we didn't go there, and that's the way it happened. And if it didn't happen, it's nice to know why it didn't happen. So
That's the weird part.
bro totally says it.
That's the weird part.
It
What,
didn't
what are the
happen.
comments saying? Let's see what people are saying about
Let's
that.
see what they're saying. Kid got left with a lot more questions. Buzz Bidened his way out of that question. He speaks fluent Bidenese.
Jesus Christ,
That's all I
they're all
got.
going to be about Biden.
Translucical one. Translation: aliens need to approve the visa, and they're very selective.
I agree. There's bases on the moon.
The little girl, sir, are you having a stroke?
Maybe.
We call this dry snitching in the hood. There's nothing like really analytical or
Okay.
critical here.
I didn't figure there would be. It's a YouTube short. Let's see if I
He
can.
was 93 years old in that.
That might explain why.
Good God. But he did say it did not happen.
He did,
I'm just curious why he says that. And he
Buzz
said that
Aldrin.
more. And that's not the only one he said that.
Interview.
I got to think of something good to Google with this. You got to think of the right words when you
What are you
Google.
looking at?
I want to see why. If anyone has an explanation for why he said the things he did.
Because most of it makes sense. It's that part after where he says, well, we didn't.
He totally says that. So
That's the
and that's
I'm
the
like,
that's
why
the
would he
fuel
say
to the
that?
conspiracy
I know.
theorists.
That's the.
And people say like, well, he's 93 years old. He doesn't give a fuck anymore. Like if he dies, he dies. Like he's gonna blow the lid off. He doesn't care. That's what they'll say. Like he used to care. Now he doesn't.
Another. I don't know what to fucking Google.
And
for
Lance
this.
Armstrong said it too.
Lance did.
I'm just saying that fuels the fire. But why are they saying that? Like I gotta play devil's advocate. Like
Yeah.
the people that went there are saying that. That's interesting,
Well, it's also only the guys who went on the first mission.
right? So maybe, I wonder. Man,
I wonder
no.
what all the other astronauts are saying who stepped on the moon.
Maybe some of them
there
went. Some
were-
of them, I don't know.
Were there 3 astronauts in the Apollo? There were 3 astronauts in the Apollo 11 mission. I believe 2 only went out.
Mm,
Maybe all 3. I don't know.
I'm not sure.
I'll
I
have
know
to
there's
look.
3. I don't know who went out though.
And I know Buzz Aldrin did, and Lance Armstrong
Yeah.
did.
If there was 3, why don't we ever hear about the third guy?
I think because he didn't get to step on the moon. I think he was in charge of staying
I'd
on the
be so
module.
fucking pissed.
Right?
Oh.
Like, man, that has got. I'd be like, I don't even want to fucking go to the moon if
No.
I'm not going to get to step
I'd take
on
off while they're out there.
Yeah,
I'd
I
be
say,
like,
fuck you guys.
Have fun. Yeah.
it. What was I going to say? It was relevant.
I'll give you a time.
I can't fucking remember. I lost it. We were talking about guys stepping on the moon. I can't fucking remember.
all good.
It's gone.
We have the memory of a 93-year-old sometimes.
93-year-old who admits that the moon landing was fake.
I hate losing track of my fucking thoughts.
I hate, yeah, when it's that bad too.
Especially when I have something like I really want to say. I do that to you sometimes. Like I'll come down there to tell you and Alex something.
Like, I forget.
And like I'm just like, fuck, what was I gonna say? But yeah, it's interesting. I totally am on your side though with okay. It would be harder to fake the moon landing than going to the actual moon. You'd have to forge tens of thousands of documents, hundreds of thousands, millions of hours of scientific research and papers. You'd have to get every employee.
That was it. That was it. The amount of people that worked on I think just the Apollo 11 mission was like 400,000 people.
So how do you convince 400,000 people? Okay, so there is a counter argument. I will say their counter argument would be that they thought that they were going to the moon, but they landed in the desert.
When a very small amount of people knew what was actually going on.
Yes, that's the counter argument.
All right.
if you want to play both sides. What do you say to that?
I think.
What say you? I hate that saying.
What say you?
It doesn't make any fucking sense.
Like it. That makes sense. It's like if you
You fill in.
a very select amount of people on what's really going on, and you leave out the vast majority of people
Yeah.
on what's actually going on.
Like they actually build a rocket that they think can go
Yeah,
to the moon.
that they launch, that they go
And then they
into
go to-
orbit, they ditch it in space, and they come back on a lander.
But then the argument would be, well, where wouldn't you have like objects falling from the skies, and wouldn't anybody catch it on camera? I mean, it'd have to be in such a strategic place on Earth. You'd have to. I mean, there's definitely places they could do it, but I wonder.
I think so. They did it in a studio, a Hollywood studio. And
Suck
s-
my dick. They didn't do it in a
it-
fucking studio.
Have you heard
I
the
hate
theory
that.
that Stanley Kubrick directed the moon landing?
I've heard somebody. Yeah, I forget. It might have been him.
Very
Somebody directed-
popular.
Yeah.
Is Stanley Kubrick directed it?
Wasn't there another one that they said directed it too? Like a really famous
Probably like the guy who directed Jurassic Park or some shit. I don't know.
something like. Yeah, anyways, but yeah, I've heard.
Stanley Kubrick did not direct the moon landing.
No.
When they say like his brother was a leader of the American Communist Party, he wasn't. I don't even think he has a brother.
I have no
You
idea.
can poke holes in the Stanley Kubrick shit all day.
Mm.
And there's this fake interview that a lot of people point to. Supposedly it's Stanley Kubrick explaining how they did all the stuff and filmed it. So if you watch more of the interview, the dude is not Stanley Kubrick who is giving the interview. And then the guy filming the interview is like being a harsh asshole. Like, you have to say it this way. You have to do it. Like, it's very obviously fake. The dude being interviewed is not Stanley Kubrick. And that's one that's pointed to a lot. So if you just,
Deep fake.
hardly even a deep fake. It's just a shitty impersonation and that people latch onto to try and fill their own point.
Yeah, I think if you have to like reach to find points, it tells you all you need to know. Like if there's more evidence for something being true, why look for the things that you know what I mean? Like there's mountains of evidence that point to it being real.
And the issue with conspiracies is
You can find a
the
conspiracy
sky's the
anywhere.
limit.
Yeah,
Like, there's nothing off limits
I
that you
agree.
can reach
Yeah.
for.
yeah, that goes for anything.
But when it comes to like the actual thing happening, it's like there's only so much evidence. It's like, well, here's what we have on the table. This is the way it was done. And then some conspiracy theorist is walking into another room to grab his evidence. It's like, okay, well, you can really say anything to kind of counter what really happened. You can just pull
Yeah,
it
it's
out of
not
your
that
ass if you
hard.
want.
As long as you can think with your brain, you can say stupid shit with your mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah, the people can have whatever opinion they like or want. It's fine. It just that's just one that like 9/11 I can see. There's so many like you can be like, okay, I get it. The moon landing would just be so much effort to fake. It'd be harder to fake.
I agree.
That'd take more effort, time, money, energy. That's my opinion on it. You got any other points you wanted to make about it?
I think we did go to the moon. I'm like 100% convinced we went to the moon. If you don't think we did, just do some research. That's all you got to do.
Well, people will say, why don't we go back?
Why would we? Like,
Yeah, exactly. We had such a strong. We wanted to show the world that our wiener was bigger than Russia,
that's all it was. It was just a dick measuring contest.
and that's like very serious for us humans. That's like the ultimate. Like,
During the Cold War, I mean, hey, that's the biggest fuck you to the Soviet Union. Like,
mhm.
yeah, you guys might have like achieved a lot of firsts in space, but we went to the moon and put dudes on it. Like, fuck you.
Yeah, like how are they gonna? There's no comeback.
There isn't, unless it's
Like-
going to Mars and landing on Mars.
You can say your mom, but hey, I went to the moon.
Yeah, like, well, your mom. Well, I went to the fucking moon and fucked
Yeah,
your
fuck
mom,
your mom on the moon. Yeah, yeah. That's the reason though. Like, is we had a serious motivation, and when we're motivated as a species, we can do great things. And right now, I think we kind of lost our purpose. Like, we don't have like I think we need an enemy. Like we have. I mean, we have like Russia and the Middle East, but like, it's not a healthy enemy.
No,
And this, I think, was almost healthy in a way.
for
For like are
Progression.
progression. Yes,
That's the one thing that I mentioned about war a lot. Like when,
progression.
yeah, it's war creates innovation. We wouldn't have a lot of the things we have now without wars.
But I feel like you're riding such a fine line between progression and apocalypse. Like now,
Yeah,
a world war would be a world-ending event.
that would be nutty. And it's so close. Tensions are building everywhere.
I'm getting more and more like anxious about it.
I don't know if I'm getting anxious about it.
I would if
I think
would-
I might be in denial. I don't think it's
Maybe.
gonna happen. I can read Alex's text messages on here. This is his laptop. He's getting all of his iMessages.
Is bro getting goofy?
I'm gonna snoop through his iMessages with his girlfriend. Out him on Maine.
What was that about getting pegged?
And that's the running joke actually with Alex and like every one of our friends is
Oh,
that he gets
God.
pegged. I'm glad you're in on it. You didn't even have to.
No, I just assume. Sorry, Alex. I
That,
hope you don't.
that provides evidence to the theory.
And it does. It doesn't help your cause, bud. But hey, to each their own, man. Some people have some interesting kinks.
Yeah, whenever float your boat.
Whatever floats your goat. What were we saying before we talked about Alex?
I'm in
getting pegged?
denial about
Oh,
the
that.
apocalypse and the world wars.
Joseph, you're going through. You're in like the second stage of grief.
I think so. I'm like, this won't happen. Like, there's no way.
The realization I think I had that gave me the anxiety about it is this is not going to get better before it gets worse.
Right. There's like no peaceful resolve here.
So it's just going to escalate. And then eventually China wants Taiwan. Then what?
North Korea is a factor here too. I know, like
I get it. I totally agree. I just
their
hate
their
North
military
Korea.
might is not huge, but they do have nuclear capabilities. And
How functional are their nuclear capabilities?
I don't know, they launch missiles very frequently.
That girl on Joe Rogan, you ever see her? The North Korea girl?
Yeah,
I forget her
I
name.
follow her on Instagram. What the fuck is her name?
She's such a fucking fraud. She was called out by so many defectors. She bullshits out the ass, dude.
She's interesting to me.
She's such a bullshit.
Because she is like extremely, extremely far right now.
Mm.
Like saying the U.S. is pretty much going into like a communist country.
Well, then go back to North Korea and have fun.
She said it's like North Korea. She said it's becoming like North Korea. I don't buy that for even the lick of a second.
Don't listen to her. After digging into like her more, she is doing everything that she's doing for attention now. Maybe at first it was in good, like, I don't know.
Like you
Okay.
get out of there, you're like, people need to know about this. Maybe they'll do something,
Mhm.
but no one's gonna do shit.
Like she was talking about, like for example, just to disprove some of it, like the education in North Korea, like they're according to her they don't know like fucking anything. Well, they built nuclear rockets. They must know something.
Yeah,
Like they can't all be stupid. They had to get North Korean scientists to.
I'd say all of them. I feel like the education is. I watched a lot of North Korean documentaries. I find it very interesting.
She says that they're basically taught like nothing about like electronics or the outside world or like anything.
I feel like it depends on where you're at.
Just she goes to extremes with what she says.
I think maybe the Pyongyang area is a little more fortunate in their education. I would think.
Sounds like the noise. You know the door stopper when you fucking pull it. Pyongyang.
Oh yeah, Pyongyang.
Anyway, sorry.
Since that is like the capital, that's where everything is. I think that the people who live there probably have more access to amenities like education, food, water. Whereas out in like kind of the sticks, it's like you're kind of SOL. You're fucked out
I think
there.
there's a country in like country North Koreans, like yeehaw North Koreans. Like,
Oh,
Kim
yeah,
Jong Un's my fucking day. Goddamn, you think that
Probably, but if they say something like that, they'll get shot and killed.
I want to meet one. I want to meet. Ooh, I want to meet a hood North Korean.
I wonder if they have a hood. I feel that place to me is so strange.
Imagine like a
you know?
Crip North Korean.
I don't think there's like any. I feel like gangs don't exist there.
No,
I feel like
probably
it's
not.
very,
Strict.
it's cut. You know, it's
Do
like
you
follow
think-
the rules. If you don't, there are consequences. I just saw a video of two like 14-year-old boys sentenced to 12 years of hard labor for watching a South Korean drama, and they were sitting in their chairs, and then behind them was an audience of like the rest of the school. They were being made an example of. It's like, hey, don't watch South Korean dramas, or you guys are gonna get sentenced to 12 years of hard labor.
Yeah, that I would hate that. Or, like the family gets sentenced. Like if somebody in the family commits an offense, like their kids have to.
Oh yeah, like defectors' families get fucked.
Do you think that some of this is West propaganda? Because we're subject to it, like with every other country. So why not North Korea?
You know, I can't say for certain. I grew up in the U.S. I can't.
We don't know.
I have no idea. There could be some propaganda buried in there.
But we know now that there's been a lot of Russian propaganda pushed on us.
Yeah.
So that's fascinating. So you just wonder.
The Soviet Union also is interesting to me. I was watching some documentaries on that as well. Because there's a lot of, I'm seeing in the U.S. a lot of kids my age. I'm not a kid. I'm fucking 25, but
I feel like a kid. I don't care.
A lot of people my age are leaning more towards communism, and they're like, capitalism down, communism is the way. And I find that very fascinating because
I don't agree with them.
I don't either. I want them to give me a good example of when communism worked.
I don't think it never has.
That's my point.
I
It
can't
has
give
not.
you a reason.
There's never. What happens with communism, what seems to follow, from what I've seen by 3 major examples, is millions of people dying of starvation.
Mm-hmm.
The extremely strict rules.
I feel like a modified communism might work, but nobody would ever want to
I
do
think
that. It'd have to be very
it gets
modified.
to your like
to where it wasn't even communism anymore.
communism's whole point is like nothing really belongs to the people. It belongs to the state, but you get a share of it.
I think the world government wants that.
They
like
might.
the WEF.
But if you're in charge of a communist nation, you're going to get power drunk so fucking fast. Like, you own everything. You are the say.
And we all know how we are when we get
It's
power.
not like America where like there's checks and balances, and I know that has its flaws in itself, but there's a little bit of leeway here. It's like one person can't control everything, but in communist countries they can, and they do, and lots of people die because of it, because they get drunk with power and they're selfish, and then they get paranoid.
I wonder what China's actually like, because that's a communist like.
I know
What is that actually like?
my dad's pilot friend, who I'm also kind of friends with. He flies to China very often. He's in Japan very often. It looks awesome. I'm not going to lie. It looks like it has some great qualities to it. While I don't agree with everything China does, like the Uruguays, I'm not pronouncing that correctly. Like, I think there's flaws. Don't get me wrong, but some people paint China as like still under Mao, like where people are just dying of starvation left, right? And there still probably are people dying of starvation. I don't know. There's people dying of starvation in America.
There's veterans dying of starvation in America.
Yeah, and everyone on the right's like, oh, veterans.
Immigrants. Let's give them everything. Let's not get into that.
Anyway, there's certainly propaganda buried in there that we were fed. It's so hard to discern the truth when you're being fed something your whole life.
It's impossible.
It's like North Korea.
Unless you go there.
Yeah, if you look at North Koreans, like, they're still taught that, like, America is the demon and they beat them in multiple wars, and their technology is not even close to North Korea's.
How did they believe that? Like, okay, I know
They
what you're
have
saying.
no access to anything outside of their country.
But they know of people that have had access. So do you think, so you think that people that in North Korea that have seen evidence of the outside world, when they tell people that haven't seen it, are they looked at as like witchcraft type? Like, no, you're crazy, like, or tinfoil hat? Or do you think that, how do they perceive
I don't
that?
know. When I watch the documentaries,
'Cause they exist.
when you, as a tourist, go to North Korea, you're in a group. You cannot leave the group. You cannot film certain things. You cannot say certain things, and you have to act a certain way. Like, you pretty much become North Korean when you're a tourist. And they kind of, I get a little nervous for them because they push the boundary with some of the questions they ask to these tour guides.
How can you not?
And the tour guides either shut them down fast as fuck or answer like, yeah, Kim is the greatest. He is a god. They answer like they are fully indoctrinated into that.
So that tells
whether or
me
not they are, I'm trying to discern. I'm like, do they really believe this, or are they just saying this so they don't get in trouble? It's so hard to figure out what's going on
A
there.
lot of the boomers or the older people feel that way about Vladimir Putin. I noticed, like, they think that everybody there is under his like mind control. I don't believe that. I think that they see him as a good leader in their country. He has the highest approval rating of any leader in any country on earth.
I am curious about Russia. A little sad story. I don't know how this ends, but with Mekon, we usually hire out artists for commission work, and
That's a clothing brand.
then we do the designs. We found this artist. He did great work, and we worked with him on a ton of shirts. And we formed like a relationship with this guy. We would talk all the time. I remember he got COVID, and we were talking. He's like, "Man, I'm pretty scared. I'm feeling pretty sick." I'm like, "Hey, dog, like you got this." I'd say we were like pretty close friends. And then the war in Ukraine broke out, and I have not heard from him since.
Mhm.
I'm like, "Is he dead?" Like this guy could very much be dead.
There's a Russian YouTuber that I watched. That same thing happened. She like made a video crying, like saying this is probably the last video that you guys are gonna see of me, and she had she got everything taken away from her Instagram, Venmo, like all of her income source just gone.
It makes me sad. I really liked this guy. He was A, an amazing artist, B, a very cool person that I talked to, and I don't know if I'll ever hear from him again.
We hope you're doing great.
He
Somehow.
could be dead in Ukraine, dude.
Well, then I'm sorry for your, not your
I don't
loss,
know.
because
I have no idea. I'm at a
I
loss.
I wonder if no, he wouldn't have been like drafted. They don't have drafts yet in Russia, do they?
I don't think they're
Ukraine
drafting
did.
regular civilians.
Yeah.
I think they are drafting more like prisoners,
Just
and
my pants.
they're riding
And I got a hole in them.
in the
like
gooch.
You and your
In the
fucking-
gooch.
Yeah, like your gooch fucking magnificently large Grand Canyon tear.
My
That
jeans
you wear to work.
nowadays. I used to wear those all the time. My jeans nowadays, no gooch rips. I'm just gonna shout out Boohoo Man Jean Company. They're very cheap jeans, but bro, I love these things. I love them. No gooch rips, and I've had them for like over a year now, almost 2.
Your jeans, I'm not shitting on you for tight jeans, but they're not like uncomfortable.
These are not like straight denim. They have a little bit of elasticity to them, and they're very comfortable.
Because remember you telling me like
I sleep in them.
that's what,
Not all the time. Like if I'm at a friend's
Come
house, I sleep in
on.
them, or if I have friends over.
you're a psychopath.
It's amazing. It's not like regular denim. It is not like regular denim at all. And also, I
Doesn't
can
it feel
sleep anywhere.
constricting?
No.
That's what I hate. Like even if I have a tight shirt on, I like get uncomfortable because like it starts to like warp on my body and I can feel it tugging on me.
I know what you mean.
Ugh. Bro, you probably shower with your socks on.
That's disgusting.
I've done it once.
People who sleep in their socks are foul. I
You
do.
sleep in your skinny jeans.
Okay, that's different.
No,
That's different.
it's horrible.
That's very different.
You're a sick man.
And people who go barefoot
Sick man.
in their house most of the time, I can't do it.
Barefoot in the house?
I gotta wear socks.
Oh, I go barefoot outside. I
It's
go everywhere.
gross. It is gross.
I'm
Put those
connecting.
dogs away.
My velociraptor claws. I'm connecting to the earth. I swear to God, like it does something. Like going on a hike or walking with like bare feet is like
My feet aren't calloused, so that hurts. Would
Mine
hurt
aren't
so
either.
fucking bad.
it's not. I wouldn't say it's comfortable, but it's not like ouch.
Man, I would never walk in the woods without shoes.
You have to try it.
No.
You'll feel it like wow, this feels good. Like you feel good.
I always, if I'm in the woods, I'm in an area of danger. That is not my domain. I love the woods, but like animals out there, that's their domain. And if one stumbles across me, or if I'm in a little pinch, I got to be agile. I got to be quick. I got to have good feet, good shoes, so I can get out of that situation.
What
I'm-
if the animal has a foot fetish and he wants to suck on your toes?
I don't want an animal sucking on my toes. I'm gonna tell him like, dude, you do not want to suck
What
on
if
my
what if
toes.
bro starts licking his lips and shit?
Starts untying my shoes.
What are you gonna do?
I'm like, Mr. Bear, please don't.
He's like, don't mind if I do. But there's speaking of that, I might as well bring it up since we're on that topic. Weirdly enough, I saw like a study where you could train your fight or flight response to like so if you had anxiety or you wanted to mitigate that or lessen it, even if you don't, you can trick your brain because your mitochondria and your cells don't fucking know what the hell's going on. It just knows how you're responding to things. So if you say you're out on like a walk in like the wilderness or the woods or wherever the fuck you are, nature, and you walk slow, and then out of nowhere you take off in like a 30-second sprint, like as fast as you fucking can, like just go, and then you stop, and you lay down and you start to breathe, and you calm yourself down, you can train or trick your fight or flight response to chill the fuck out after time, because it's thinking we just ran away from a predator and we got away. We're okay. Everything's fine. So you can kind of like, I guess, train your brain to kind of chill out more. It's a very primitive method, which I think is
I think primitive methods fine. Nothing
they
wrong
work
with
better than
primitive
anything.
methods. Right, like that's how we started.
Yeah, if you're anything like evolutionary psychology based, I'm telling you, man, it works better than like almost anything. If you just remember like where you came from, like bro, we were fish, and then we weren't fish.
It all went wrong when the fish grew the fucking legs and started walking. I'm just gonna say that.
That's so fascinating to me. Did he? Okay, he. I'm
We
gendering.
can call him a he. I don't give a fuck. He's a fish.
I'm sorry if I offended anybody out there. He, motherfucker. Anyways, did evolution is so interesting. So, did he have legs before? Okay, so did he? Let me think about this. Did he have legs? Did he grow them in the water? If so, how and why? Why would you grow legs if you're solely a water-based species? Or did how did they grow? How did they get on land without legs, and then get back in the water without dying?
The
Like,
way
You'd only grow legs if you were like a land-dwelling species.
the way I see it is how it happened is not like it just grew legs and went on land. It of course happened over a long period of
Why
time.
didn't snakes grow legs?
The snakes didn't need to adapt to grow legs. They probably adapt in very different ways.
Why didn't worms grow legs? I'm happy they didn't.
Worms probably didn't need to grow legs.
I bet they have them. They're
But
hiding them.
our fish friend probably went up on land a few times with his flippers and went back in the water. And then
he's
over time,
damn.
he convinced other fish. He's like, "Hey, you guys come up here real quick."
It's like SpongeBob when they went out on the land.
Exactly. And then over time, they adapted. Maybe they got stronger fin muscles. I'm flapping. Tim is going to lose his mind when I said that. They go up there with their flippers, and they get stronger. And maybe over a long period of time, they change in shape a little bit, and they get better at breathing oxygen. Since fish can't just breathe underwater, they need oxygen to do it anyway. And then, over that long period of time, homeboy went up, and he's like, "Oh shit, I can do this." But he goes back in the water, and then he's like, "Guys, come up here. Like, this is pretty cool."
They're like, nah, bro, nah, fam, I ain't doing that shit. Yo, crazy.
And he's like, "I'll give you $1."
okay.
And they all come up. The next thing you know, fish are walking on land. There's a fish, can't remember what it's called. Maybe a mud. I'm gonna say, not a
I'd say
mud kip.
Muskie.
It's like a mud skip.
Mudkip's awesome. I
It's like a
love
mud
Mudkip. That's a
skip,
Pokemon.
something like that.
That's where Mudkip might have came from.
It might be, but Mudkip looks significantly cuter than the Mud Skip. He's motherfucker's ugly. But this dude will, once the water that he's in goes away, it evaporates because there's a lot of droughts in the area where they live. He'll burrow in mud. The mud will solidify, and then when the rain comes, the mud will break apart, and he's back in the water. So he can kind of breathe without water for a very long
It's
time.
not fair. I want to breathe underwater.
I want to breathe underwater.
That'd be cool.
That would be cool. It'd be awesome.
So we went from fish to fish on land to hype beasts.
There's a great
wear
diagram
Supreme
that
and vape
I always refer to.
and collect Jordans.
Fish.
What if you told that fish one day he was going to
grew.
collect Air Jordans?
Legs. Hey, fish, you're gonna have
Some sick kicks.
the name of the fish is
George Lopez.
the Tiktaalik. Tiktaallik.
Fuck the
A
tic
genus of extinct Sarcopter. I don't know how to fucking say that. Sarcopteryginian.
Let me see. I like pronouncing big words.
Sarcopteryginian or something.
Yeah, I think so. That looks right.
From the late Devonian period, about 375 million years ago, have many features akin to those of tetrapods, four-legged animals. I want to see if I can find that graph.
What if the dinosaur extinction event was aliens?
Yeah, here's the mug who grew legs. Kind of looks like an axolotl.
Axolotls are adorable.
Loki grew legs. Chart. I'm gonna look up evolution chart. There's one evolution. There's a fish that is older. Oh, here it is. Take a peek at this. There's a fish on there called a Oh, why is it slipping my mind right now? Find the fish that grew legs. You see him on there?
It's very hard to read. Pander. The one before the Tiktaalik was Pandaricus.
Before him.
Coelacanth and Cephalus.
Coelacanth.
Coelacanth, yeah.
See how old that fish is? Is there a date on there that you can read?
No.
Okay, well they're
Oh,
like
yep,
they're
yep,
over 300.
420 million years.
Guess what still swims in our oceans today?
Mermaids.
That's coelacanth.
Really?
They are still alive after 400 million years.
Did they evolve to look like significantly different?
They look the same. Like if you look up a picture of them, it's crazy what a look back in history actually looks like swimming in the oceans. It's nutty as fuck. But
That's
you
so
can see the evolution of Fishman there. I like that chart a lot.
Yeah. I wonder just how accurate that is. I believe in evolution. I just wonder how.
I believe in evolution too, but I also think that what we know about history is very little of what actually happened.
Alien interventions.
Not even that. Well, I think that could be a possibility. I think there's still so much history left to be discovered. Like, I feel like 200 years from now, this chart will look very different.
Yeah. I think we're always like evolving in our. I mean, obviously, but things always change.
That's what I really like about history.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of historians don't like about history.
Yeah, because they hold on to what they believe and then it changes. And they're like, no, we're not going to listen.
They're not open to change, and history is not a concrete thing. You know, it's fluid. It's changing all the time with new discoveries.
This is why we like Graham Hancock.
I do like Graham Hancock.
That whole we never talked about that on here. The like the pyramid and the Sphinx theory, and that they were discovered. They weren't created by the Egyptians, and that it's older than everybody thinks. There was an extinction event, the Younger Dryas. I like talking about that.
I love talking about that. He's one of my favorite guests that come on to the Joe Rogan podcast.
Yeah. What did we go see? We rode our motorcycles too. Big mistake.
Oh, it wasn't a big mistake.
It was-
It was a lesson in history. We were walking on the grounds of history.
We were like crawling on the grounds of history in pain.
Yes. We went to the Serpent Mound
Yeah.
in southern Ohio, just outside of Cincinnati, Dayton area.
What was? Didn't he do an episode on that?
He
I never saw
on his
that one.
Netflix thing. He did go there. I don't think he was allowed to like film there or something, but he's been there and he talks about it. I think the Serpent Mound's pretty cool. I don't necessarily know if I buy into how significant he plays it up to be. It's cool that it lines up with the summer equinox. I think that's very interesting.
It lines up with like multiple.
That's very cool. I think that's really interesting.
It's cool.
It shows how intelligent our ancestors were. I wish the big platform was open, that we could have climbed up
Oh,
it.
I was so mad. I was so close to just like going up there anyways.
It's a lot better up there. 'Cause when you're on the ground, it's cool, but you can't really see exactly what's going on.
Serpent Mound's more of like just somewhere to go to say like, yeah, I've been there. Like I got to
Yeah, it's
experience that land.
It seems more like a chill park where people go hang out and shit.
Yeah. I wonder if people go there and have no idea like what's going on.
They might.
Like they don't pay attention. They're like, hey, what's this fucking giant like weird snake in the ground?
There's a lot of mounds in that area.
Yeah.
We passed another one on our way there.
Well, there's any of that are undiscovered nearby.
Probably a lot.
Yeah. But the Egyptian theory is a fun one.
I like talking about the Egyptians. I love Egyptology. Watched a lot of documentaries on it.
Do you think that they made the pyramids? And if so, who did?
I don't know. It's very hard to say. I think
Because on the Sphinx you have the erosion marks and then the improportional
the head to the body. Yeah, that's very weird. Like
They carved the head. They had
if
to.
if the Egyptians were so in tune with kind of keeping things symmetrical, you'd think that the head would match the proportions of the body.
Mm.
And the water erosion is strange. It's very strange.
Man, if
Like
they
why
didn't
would there
build it,
why would there be water rushing around there? Why would there be water erosion on
totally
there
an
like that?
extinction event. And there's so much more evidence that points to a Younger Dryas that he touches on. I just can't remember it off the top
I'd
of my
have
head.
to. I'm not a researcher by any means.
I buy into that one.
I buy into that.
I just think that people are stubborn in archaeology.
I think they're stubborn in archaeology, and one thing I see a lot of people who go against Graham Hancock is they say he's like they say racist, and it diminishes the achievements of people in the past. And I don't think that at all.
No,
I think it makes the
That's
people
just
of the
a label.
past seem way more intelligent than what we believe them to be.
yeah, he's not shitting on anybody.
No, he's just saying like these things were done
How's that right?
by older civilizations, maybe.
I think that might be a desperate attempt to get him in, like, I don't know, not canceled, but in the bad
The
public
realm
view.
of this guy's a nut.
Like, this guy's racist. Don't listen to what he says.
Yeah, he says
Yeah.
people of South America can't build pyramids.
That happens to a lot of, like, not critical thinkers, but that happens to a lot of people that are pushing the envelope. They get labeled as a nutcase, and then everything they say is discredited.
That's the sad part. Nobody's open to opinions like that.
What do they call Elon Musk a Zionist now? Or
I see that word a lot, and I have no idea what it means.
that's anti-Jewish,
A Zionist?
I believe. Don't quote me on that.
I have no idea what Zionism is. I don't know what a Zionist is.
I don't want to lie to people here.
Someone on my Snapchat says it very frequently.
I see it way more now than I did a year ago. There was a nationalist movement. Anti-Zionism is what he's labeling as. And Zionism is a nationalist movement that emerged from the 19th century to enable the establishment of a homeland for the Jewish people in Palestine.
So a Zionist is someone who believes that Israel should be where it is. Palestine is just kind of in the way.
They're pro-Israel, I believe.
Okay.
Don't quote me on that. But,
That would make sense because this person is not pro-Israel by any stretch of the imagination. They're very pro-Palestine.
Yeah. So you see, like, I see that so much now. Like, people,
I see it all the time.
there's so much discussion on or Judaism in general. Like, out of
There is
nowhere.
now, especially. Well, I wouldn't say it's out of nowhere.
No, but I mean, you see it more publicly talked about, I guess.
Yeah,
More
because
open.
that's the hot thing. You're a good person if you think Palestine is doing the right thing, which I don't know.
Both of them believe
They both fucking suck. Let's be 100%
they both
honest.
suck, but they both believe that they're right, totally in their head. They're not.
Yeah.
Nobody's evil in their head. Palestine thinks that what they're doing is the right thing, and Israel thinks what they're doing is the right thing. Just like the Houthis, the terrorists in the Middle East,
Yeah,
they all believe what they're doing is for their God and it's the right thing.
yeah, they think they're just. I mean, you can't really fault someone. Like if they went in like, their whole point is to go kill a bunch of people because fuck them, we're angry with them.
Let's raise up.
Yeah, it does everything.
We got a new boom stand.
You can even tighten. There's nuts right here and up there. You can tighten them. It came with an Allen key.
This shit goes crazy.
I know, it's nice as fuck. It's so sleek too.
We got a second one coming, but
It didn't get here yet.
You ordered it on the same day too.
yeah, I ordered it the same day and he gets it. That's bullshit.
I'm just more important.
Amazon hates me.
And I let you use it. I'm still using the.
This raggedy ass.
You got the Android, I got the iPhone.
Yeah, here's a sleek looking. Mine's
I don't
a
talk.
little
to
rough
broke
around the
people.
edges, but look, it's got springs and 2 metal braces. Wow, what a machine. Yeah, this thing sucks ass.
Yeah, I gotta pee,
Opie.
dude. I had to real quick. I had to piss so bad at the doctor's, and she made me wait. She had to. So they drew labs real quick. They drew my blood work and everything, but they forgot to give her one of the panels, so she had to go out of the room and like talk to one of the people about like getting it. They never sent it to her, and it took like 25 minutes, and I had to pee like going in there. So I was waiting, and
Oh, that
man,
sucks.
I had, like you're crossing your legs.
Yep, you're like moving.
You're
trying
thinking, should I leave the room and pee? Like what happens if they come in when I'm peeing? Like what am I like? You start running through like these scenarios. So I sat there and like in pain. I had to pee so bad.
I hate having to piss.
Yeah, I didn't go till I went home and I stood at the toilet for like 15
It was
minutes.
gone on the floor.
It was all over. But yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna take a pee.
I also have to pee.
We're back in this bitch.
Oh, my seat's cold.
Oh yeah, you're right. And these pants are so like breathable. I sat in my car.
Wind's cutting through and shit.
Bad. I had a whole bunch of snow when I opened my door. Got on my seat and I sat on it, and it like burned my ass. I was like, that
That
hurts.
is the worst. When you open your door and a bunch of snow shoots into your fucking
Yep.
seat.
And you're already cold.
Yeah, that just makes me angry.
Yeah. That's
And
why I
sit
wear
there
heated
like
vests.
this, one hand on the wheel, trying to drive.
You gotta get on the heated vest wave.
I don't know.
It's so worth it.
I can hardly even put on like a second jacket. Like, I put my hoodie on. I'm like, this is good enough.
Dude, I know what you can do. You could wear my 1970s vintage Daytona 500 Winston Cup jacket.
Fuck that jacket. It's ugly as fuck. And you're, although you know that Indians thing you got on right now might be worth something in the future.
Maybe what?
Worth something in the future.
What?
It's got Chief Wahoo on it.
Ooh.
Anything Chief Wahoo might be worth something later.
I'm sorry. This is offensive. What?
I get it. I do.
No.
I do.
They're not. There's nothing bad. Like, they're not.
It's not that there's
The Redskins,
anything
yes.
in here. The Redskins is bad.
That's a racist term. But this is a happy chief.
I mean, it's the same thing. Like, look at him. What color is his skin? Red. I get it. And I know some people go crazy about it. They're like, oh, they're taking away, or they're just get so offended. It's like, well, what if there was a team called like,
The Crackers.
yeah, the New Jersey
The
Crackers?
Mayonnaise Ninjas.
Yeah, like people would be like, this is ridiculous.
I would support the Mayonnaise Ninjas.
I would. That wouldn't bother me.
The
but I
ranch
know
dressing
what. Yeah, what are some white slurs?
honky.
I love honky. I fucking love honky.
All white slurs are funny.
I know that's the thing.
Like you can't say a white slur to me, and I'm never gonna get mad at you.
It's
I'm just gonna be
probably
like,
'cause,
haha, that's funny.
there's no history behind white slurs. They're just you're a honky. Whereas
Yeah.
other slurs like towards other races, like there's history there where people treated them like shit, killed them, and slavery. Like there's a lot of bad shit associated with a lot of
Well,
slurs.
there's some that like there's Mexican terms that are racist, but there's no history behind them, but they get mad.
I don't know.
The wet one,
Oh,
that one there's no like.
I don't know.
There might be, but I don't think there is.
Yeah, but, I mean, if it bothers you, it doesn't hurt me not to say it.
Hurts me.
Hurt you.
Hurts me a lot. Like retard.
I don't say. I choose not to say it.
I say it. That's fine. I
I'm
can't not. You
No, look.
when you get mad.
No, I don't get mad at you for it.
Ooh.
The thing is,
No, you say it yourself.
No, I don't. I have not said that word in a very, very
Might have
long
been
time.
Alex.
Alex says it, and I
Okay,
called him
yeah.
out for it. I did. If someone else chooses to say something on their own volition, that's on them. To me, in my eyes, I'm like, if it bothers someone, it doesn't cost me anything to not say that word.
We've had this discussion.
We have.
This is a good one. I don't disagree with you. I just think that's I told you before, like then that rides like a fine line of like, okay, this offends me, and then 2 weeks later, well, now this offends me. Now you can't say that. And then 2 weeks later, well, man, now this offends me.
I
you
agree.
can't
I
say that.
agree. It can be a slippery,
that's already
It
happened.
can be a slippery slope.
That's already happened, and it's continued to
But
happen.
that word does sound harsh.
So is bitch. Bitch is like the most like offensive sounding
I
swear
know.
word.
Bastard is rough. Bastard
Ooh.
isn't like offensive. It's visceral.
Yeah, that's a good way
It's
to
a
put it.
visceral word.
Like cunt.
Cunt. That's
Those
also
are
visceral.
those are words that like we hear and we're like,
The thing is, like, those words don't describe a select group of people.
there are some cunts out
Those there are, but those are more of a general term. Like, if you're being a bitch, you're being a bitch. You say the R slur, that there's an image that is associated with that of certain people, and I can see how that would bother them. But I can also see your point of it's like, okay, well, if this isn't okay, what's not okay next?
midget.
Midget. I have no idea where we're at with that.
That's another one that
I have
they
no
get
idea.
offended.
I've heard little people is offensive. I've heard midgets offensive. Dwarf.
How else are you gonna explain them? Like, so say a midget robs you, right? And the police is like taking a description. You're gonna be like, the guy in Lucky Charms body. Like, well, you gotta say midget. Like, you can't not say that.
I think, yeah, that's
The-
another thing. Describing people.
The miniature.
Like if you're standing over, typically, this is how usually anyone else I'm around says it. If you're sitting over there, like that guy over there. What if the person over there is black? Let's say that black guy over there. To me, that's just a descriptive word.
Yeah.
But it's like, why don't you use that white guy over there, right?
Think if a midget's packing, they can lean on their wiener as like a kickstand.
Maybe.
Bro, I'm jealous. I want a tripod. All right. Anyway, sorry.
That would be painful.
Sorry to we respect little people, midgets, dwarfs, leprechauns.
I just don't know the right terminology. I don't know what's right.
Yeah, I don't either. Sorry. But yeah, the retard that was never used as an offensive word. It became offensive. So did like PTSD. There was words that were precursors to PTSD that we got offended by.
Shell shock.
Shell shock, and then there was another one. What came after shell shock?
I have no idea.
There was like
I know
4.
shell shock was like the first one in World
Yeah.
War One.
They evolved the word because it started to become like a. You
Like
can't
if this
say
guy
that.
had shell shock, then we don't want anything to do with him.
Yeah, and then that birthed PTSD. But anyways, like retard, like if an engine is retarded, it's down on power. Like retardation was just a word that they used as just like a way to describe something that wasn't functioning properly, and then it became offensive.
Like the F slur as well.
I'm not gonna say it, but yeah.
That's also one that it had another meaning, and then it got used in an offensive way.
Was that the original meaning of that cigarette? Or was that in-
British people say that? I think the actual definition is like a bundle of sticks.
Oh yeah.
Like that you collect. That is an F slur. And then people use the term in a bad way to describe someone in a negative manner. I think that's the point I'm kind of trying to make with this. Yeah, I think context A is important, but also if words can evolve, like people can evolve, like words can take on different meanings over time. I don't think that's totally out of the question or unheard of at all. So like whereas the R slur had a meaning back then, well now it's evolved to take on another meaning. And where someone says if an engine is fucking up, you say, well, like, oh, it's seized or it's lacking in power.
Say that hose retarded as fuck.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm on a different wave here. Sir, your engine is tell like you're like a mechanic. Like, yeah, your engine's like a retard. Sorry. Imagine telling like if he brought his like son with Down syndrome in there. And you're like, yeah, your engine. I'm not gonna say it, but now that's the
it's
context
right. Yeah, it's
that you're getting into.
It's very obviously like you're describing, or it comes from.
You're trying to shit on a person for
Yeah.
their something they can't help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if it bothers them, I'm like, I'd rather just not.
I can agree. I can agree and disagree. Because like if I was around somebody that had like Down syndrome, I wouldn't say it. I would be very cautious about my choice of words.
Mm.
So I get what you're saying. Like I would feel bad. Say I let it slip. Like I would feel like instantly bad. I'd be like, I wouldn't know what to say. I would if I acknowledge it, then it's worse because now I know that.
Yeah.
Like what do you say?
Like that earlier person I brought up who had malpractice and they're in a wheelchair now. They said they hate when people say handy capable. He's like, no, I'm not handy
That
capable.
just
He's
sounds
like,
stupid.
he said, let me handy capable myself up these stairs. Like, it's
Can't.
fucking dumb. He's like, I can't do that.
Yeah.
I'm not handy capable. I'm handicapped, you fucking idiot.
Yeah, at least he's very aware of his situation. I feel like there are some handicapped people that like totally buy into that. Like, yeah, I'm able. What do they say? There's another one that's like that. Disabled. I'm not disabled. I'm abled. Like, no, like you.
There are disabilities.
Like if I pick you up and I put you on the ground, you're not getting back in that wheelchair.
Right. Like, there are disabilities that people have. I don't think.
It's not. It's,
Some people take things to such a length.
yeah, that's not a disability. It's a ability. That's
Like,
another one.
I can kind of see their point. It's like saying, well, this person is not normal per se. They're different or they're less than you. They're disabled. I
Yeah,
can kind of see the point, but it's like, well, I can do things that this person cannot do. It doesn't mean you're a better person or you're obviously more capable of doing things than certain people.
If you okay, I got a controversial take. I guess it's not really controversial. If you see a person with Down syndrome, like you almost feel like you're not better than they are, but like you feel like I don't know, like you're almost like a different species. I guess like they're like on a different like there's something like different there. I don't know how to explain it, but like if I see somebody that has like a severe mental disability, like I don't feel better than they do, but I feel like they're lesser than me, but I know they're not. But like I have that feeling of like I don't know how to explain it. Like it's not like I'm not trying to be an asshole. It's just like they're subhuman almost. Like I get that. Like it sounds so wrong. saying- I don't mean it like
terms
that.
here.
I don't
Crazy
mean it like
terms.
that. I can't think of the word I'm looking for. But like I don't know. Like they're like I treat them very differently. Like everybody treats them differently. Like they
Like
they
with
baby talk. Like you ever see
Yeah.
like you're
Yeah, I know exactly.
by
what you mean.
definition you're now thinking of them as like less than you, like the way you're talking to them. You're talking down to them.
Yeah, I can see.
That's
your
what I'm
point.
trying to
I
say.
can totally see your point there.
I'm not saying there's something. I'm just saying that like you talk down to them like you're better, but you don't feel that.
Yeah,
way.
like you don't like being talked down to. I don't like being talked down
Yeah.
to. I find that extremely like rude and offensive. It pisses me off. And I can see your point exactly of where someone does have something like that. People do
you treat them.
they
worse.
treat them differently.
Yeah.
And that's I don't think a good thing.
It's not out of like you're not doing it out of like a bad
Yeah,
place,
not out of malice.
but you're still doing it, and you're still talking down to somebody that has a disability.
Like, and
Maybe talking
if
somebody
they
down
know
to-
too,
Yeah.
if they're aware, like, hey, this person is treating me very different from the others, and it's like that's not cool.
And they know, like a lot of them do. They're not.
Yeah.
They're not completely brain dead. Like they have intelligent thoughts. They're not stupid. People think that they're all stupid. Like we say, there's different forms of intelligence. Just because they can't solve calculus doesn't make them an idiot. Like they're very emotionally intelligent. People with Down syndrome, they're more in tune with emotion.
Yeah, I think you should just
And
treat.
autism.
Yeah,
Like they can be
there's
extremely
different
tuned
there
in.
are a ton of different forms of autism.
Yeah, like some of them can like hear a piano, like I don't know, like a Beethoven song and recite it after one listen.
I fucking wish
Savants.
savants, but I think where's it going? Oh, being like talked down to. I think you should just treat everybody the same way you treat everybody else.
Don't code switch.
Yeah, don't fucking switch face. If you're an asshole, you're an asshole. Be an asshole.
Yeah, unless it's for like a job interview or something. You know what I mean? Like there's scenarios where
Yeah, I guess like
business meetings.
yeah, you have to change your personality a little bit. Just I honestly find kind of frustrating and fake as fuck. But
I do too. I wish it wasn't
hate
like that.
I absolutely hate the you have to be professionalism.
And everybody knows, and they just like I know when somebody's like, if I know when I'm faking my personality, I know when somebody else is faking their personality. But it's like we're so accustomed to it. We're like you just have to do it.
Depends on the people around. But I flip like that. It's like
100%.
a switch.
I hate
I
that.
can act so different around different people.
I'm agree. I don't like that. I wish we were all just ourselves.
It kind of makes me wonder, like, what am I actually like? Like, what is my
Ooh.
true
Personality.
personality?
Maybe
'Cause-
when you're in your head by yourself.
That might be it.
That's it. I think that everybody lives like 3 different lives. Like the ones that they show their family, the ones they show their friends, and the ones that they are like when they're by themselves. Like that's who you are is when you're by yourself.
It's very when you're around different people, it impacts how you are 100%. I saw it a lot in high school. Like, there were kids who were super cool when it was like just me and them, but when they were around a certain group of friends, they were fucking dickheads.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I don't know if you're a dickhead. Like, to me, you're really cool, and you're a pretty cool person when you're by yourself. But it's around a certain people. They flip that switch and they turn into a different person.
One that makes me cringe, like immediately, and I hate this one is when a nerdy Caucasian gets around like a black person,
Oh, he turned.
and
Yeah,
it turns
he
into like
fucking
that. They
switches.
get that like ghetto talk. They
Yeah.
think that's like, to me, that's like you're kind of being racist.
You,
like,
I say you 100% are.
but like, there's no way that the black person or the Mexican, whoever the fuck you're doing it to, doesn't know that.
Right?
It has to be obvious to them.
Like, if you start going around and you're like, bruh, yeah, you start kind of not slurring your words, but you drag them out and you use different
Terminology that you think that they would
Yes.
use.
words.
Like
I'd
you're assuming that they're.
you're like, oh, this person is different. I'm going to talk the way
Different.
the way I think they talk.
I see that all the time, like at
I
work
see
and
it
at
all
and
the time.
friend groups, all over the place. I hate that. Like I always try to be like I try to be as, I don't know, like similar with like any race. I don't care. Like I'm just gonna be who I am. Like I don't try to, like if I see somebody at work, I'm like, hey bro, what's poppin'? Like hey, what's up?
Change your verbiage.
Yeah, I'm just gonna. Oh, I was told at Shears, man, when I was younger, that my words are too big for where I'm at, and I should dumb them down.
Who told you that?
His name was Kurt, and he was the one that was training me to run the machines, but he didn't do it in a malicious way.
He did it, I'm assuming, in a way like, hey, if you want to fit in,
He was looking out for me.
yeah, like,
Yes.
tone it down a bit.
Yes. Because I don't know, just the way that I say things sometimes are not how most people talk, I guess. I don't know. I just like words.
I mean, a very common thing that gets under some people's skin is when other people use big words
It makes them feel like,
They're like, oh, you're kind of talking down to
Yeah.
me a little bit.
which I get what he was saying.
Yeah.
But like at the time, I was very angry about it. But then look, like he was a really good person. Like he was the smartest person there. Like he should not have been there. I hope you're doing well, Kurt. But
Yeah, Kurt, we hope you're doing well.
yeah, like I remember him telling me that, and I was like, "You fuck that! I'm gonna let me tell you, sir.
Let me tell you, Kurt.
Mathematically speaking, the conjugation of what you
Right? You just throw in the dictionary.
yeah, like I don't know,
Some people argue like that. They use big words to argue.
because
They
it,
just talk in
yeah,
circles. It makes them seem like they have a valid point. when
I've
they're
been
just
guilty of that.
fucking
In the
talking in
past.
circles.
Yeah,
I think I've probably been guilty of that.
yeah, because it makes you feel like superior,
Yeah,
even if you're not
and
winning the argument.
If you're using words that the other person doesn't know the definition of, it's very hard to rebuttal that.
Yeah. Yeah, because then they don't know what you're saying.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've been guilty of that when I was younger. But
A really good tactic if you want to argue with someone. Use big
Yeah.
words.
and if you want to argue with somebody, but not allow them to understand what you're saying, so they can have a rebuttal, tell them to look you in the eyes, because the visual takes over, and all they see is
They lose their
Yeah,
thought.
all they see is your mouth moving. So if you want to get somebody lost, and like, you can just look at make them stare at you.
If I get into like, not an argument. I don't like arguing. I prefer to like talk, hash it out, and kind of debate a
Debate.
topic.
I like debating too.
I have to kind of like breathe a little bit because then I'll start talking real fast, and I can notice when I'm doing it. I'll run out of breath, and I'm like, oh
Yeah.
my god, I gotta fucking chill. Like I have to really think about what I'm saying, and I have to listen to what the other person is saying. I have still kind of do a bad habit of, instead of listening to when the other person's talking, while they're talking, picking one point that they have and formulating my rebuttal off of that,
and
instead of
thinking
listening to
about
their
your
whole
response.
point.
I do that.
Yeah,
It's hard not to.
it's very hard not to.
like it's so hard to listen to everything they're saying, and then have something like you have to formulate. How am I going to come back?
Yeah, because you want to have the best point to come back, and you're focusing on this one. You're like, oh, I can dig that up. But if the person makes that one little point, and the rest of their argument is pretty irrelevant to that one point, it's like, well, then you talked for no fucking reason.
Women are going to love this one.
Let's hear it.
Well, I'm saying like do what you're saying, because I always get told, like whenever I get like a long text about, like if I say a girl was complaining about stuff I was or wasn't doing, I would respond like one thing instead of like 20
Yeah.
that thing. I'm like, you don't gonna listen to nothing I say.
You pick out the one.
I would. I'll get like a 2-story fucking like page long text, and I'd be like, well, that one time where you brought up this, let's focus on that. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
I haven't received a wall of text message in a long time.
Neither have I. I don't miss those days.
I don't either. Those sucked.
Yeah. It's peaceful being single.
It is pretty peaceful being single. I feel a lot less stressed and anxious.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about much. Well, I'm worrying about other things, but that's just one less thing on the plate.
I feel like people dive into that too early, too young, before they figure out themselves. And then at age 30, 40, they wake up one day and they're like, fuck, who am I?
I mean, I see people dive into it early, and now they're already divorced. I've seen like 3 divorces amongst people,
Yeah, there's somebody
and
that
they're my age. They're 25.
there's somebody we both know that just got a divorce.
Are they an actor?
Yes.
Kind of. I know exactly who you're talking about. I saw that. And I
Yeah.
was like, they made a whole post about it. I was like, I don't need to dish your fucking dirty laundry out like that. Like,
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck.
I hate that. Like, keep it to yourself.
I'm looking for sympathy.
Yeah. And we're not gonna shit on her, but there's been like multiple times where I've seen somebody get divorced or break up, and within like a week they got a boyfriend or a girlfriend. Like,
So, right, how serious was that
you were
marriage?
already interviewing subjects during a relationship. Like,
Yeah.
that's what you were doing. Like, a lot of times girls won't break up with a guy unless they have a backup like ready to go, because they need the security feeling from the male. So they'll very often, like if a girl breaks up with a guy, more times than not, she has already had in her mind a backup, whether that works out or not.
Do you know people who are like who constantly have to be in a relationship?
My ex best friend that used to work with us.
Really? He's one that has to just like
You know how
doesn't
big
know
of-
how to be single.
100%. How big of he threw his life away for a girl.
Yeah, he did.
He's done that multiple times. I'm not going to name any names. he almost committed suicide over a girl breaking up with him.
So
Like he closed his
how
eyes.
old was he?
20. Like, bro, he wasn't a kid. He was 20, 21. Like,
I'd say kids are 20. 20 's a
yeah,
kid.
but you're smart
more
enough to not fucking kill yourself.
Yeah, you should be smart enough to not.
Some
fucking-
ugly 4 out of 10 breaks up with you. Like, dude, like I think he said he closed his eyes, like, on the highway and just like let the car like go wherever it was gonna go, and then he like figured like this is a bad idea.
That reminded me of something I did. I think I was probably 16 at the time. I just got my license. I had a 1995 GMC Safari work van.
I didn't know that.
No seats in the back. This thing looked like a fucking rapist van. My dad's boss gave it to him for free from the airport, so I got a free car, and I actually really liked that car. First, I was a little pissed. I'm like, well, my parents bought him a truck, and they got my sister a car. I mean, they gave me a car. It was free. It got me to where I wanted to go, and
They
it was a
hated
great
you.
talking piece. I loved that car. I put a couch in the back for a while. Anyway, I had just got on the on-ramp onto 77 North from, like, if you're coming from Alliance and you merge right, you go up into 77. I had just gotten up there. I don't know why. This was the dumbest fucking thing I had ever done while I was driving, like, to this day. I was like, I wonder how long I can close my eyes and keep in this lane. And I closed my eyes. I don't know how long I did it. It wasn't that long, but I opened them up and I was like, why the fuck did I just do that? Like, that is the worst idea that I could have had.
That's such like
Ever.
a 16-year-old like thought.
It is. It's such a 16-year-old thing. I was like, what the fuck is wrong with me?
That was a learning moment.
It is.
seemed
I have
like.
never done it since. Don't fucking close your eyes while driving to see how long you can do it. Like, you've seen the movie, like Need for Speed. There's a famous scene where what's the dude who died? What's his name?
Need for Speed or Fast and Furious.
Fast and Furious. What's his name?
Paul Walker.
Paul Walker. There's a famous scene, I think, in the first movie where he's with this girl and he's looking at her, shifting the car and driving, not on the road. And I'm like, look how badass he is. Like, I bet I could do that. But I just did
I
it.
can picture doing that in your fucking van.
I did it by myself in my car and I just closed my eyes.
Creeping out some like random girl like
They're like, why is there?
Took a
People are probably getting away from me.
shift to
Like,
my
I'm
automatic
probably
shift.
swerving in the lane, ready to go into the fucking guardrail.
I thought you
Because
were
there was a
drunk.
curve bending around. I'm like, I know where this is.
Yeah. So many like people I know have like ruined or tried to ruin their lives over a girl or have ruined their lives over a girl.
I'm thinking if I know anyone who has. Probably.
I had a
Not someone that I'm really close with, but
yeah. I had a best friend before that was broken up with, and I'm still pissed at him for this. Like I would spend the night at his house all the time.
you should move that mic down a little bit. Down. Down. Not your fucking head. You gotta talk into the mic.
Sorry guys.
I don't want any reverb.
Is it showing up on the thingamajigger?
No, it was just last time there was a little bit of reverb, so I made sure because that mic has an echo switch on it.
Oh. So I had a friend that I would spend the night at his house like all the time, and his girlfriend broke up with him a night that I was there. So he woke me up at like 3 crying, like a little girl, to go get like he would binge eat. He was fat. It's so funny.
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
Bullshit. This is what you want to know what he did? Wait till you hear this. So he got me up at 3 in the morning, and whenever he was sad, he would binge eat. So I already knew what we were doing. He took me to McDonald's, but on the way there, with me in the car, like he was fucking bawling his eyes out and shit like that. And he was speeding like 70 and probably like a 30 in his Ford
Jesus.
Ranger. And he was going through red lights and everything, like without even real like stopping or anything. Like he had like a manic
Man,
episode
I'd be so mad.
with me in the car.
I'd be so
I
angry.
was so fucking mad. So he gets to McDonald's. Bro, this dude's fat as fuck. I think he ordered 6 sausage. It was like 3 in the morning. Six sausage muffins. 3 or 4 like orders of hash browns, and he might have got something else. His house was 10 minutes away. He ate them all before we got to his house.
Damn.
He ate them all. Was fine. Sat down on his bed. All I heard, I was about ready to go to bed. I was already laying down in my little sack on the floor. I heard, bleh.
He threw up.
Okay. This was the most projectile vomit I have ever seen in my life. The amount of volume was unbelievable. It was like, okay, so if he barfed on this table, it would be from like here like
God.
with like
Damn.
chunks. Like it wasn't like water.
Well, he's probably got a whole half of a fucking muffin in there.
He's got all McDonald's in his stomach. It was disgusting. But yeah, anyways, it's just on topic. He was he was risking his life because somebody broke up with him. Like that happens so often. Like I saw a video on Twitter. Some guy shoot himself in the head. See that his girlfriend broke up with him. Got in the elevator. As soon as the door closed, he pulled a gun out and shot himself in the head on camera.
That's fucking crazy.
It happens all the time.
That is
Well, not
crazy.
that, but people like kill themselves over the relationships.
I know it's real cliche to say like, well, there's other fish in the sea, but dude, there's almost 8 billion people on this planet.
Yeah.
You didn't find your soulmate. We talked about this like episode 1. There's no soulmate. You're gonna find someone else. You're not gonna be alone forever.
And the reason that they do it is to get back at the person.
You want them to feel bad.
Well, guess what, dummy?
They
You're
don't
dead.
Yeah, they don't give a like. What did you? Yeah, you're dead. You're not gaining anything.
Yeah, you're fucking dead. That's their goal, is to get back at the person. It's just stupid. And I've seen it. I just hate when it happens because like I've had so many like great friends like ruin my friendship with them over a girl, like just them breaking up and them becoming like insufferable to be around.
I've had a friend who threw away all like. Well, it wasn't just my friend. It was like my brother. We were in a big friend group. Like we were all really close friends, and he threw all that shit away over girls. But I think mentally something was wrong.
Yeah,
he was soliciting girls
Yeah.
for money, and it was pretty fucked up what
I
he was
remember
doing.
this, dude.
But like we cut him off, and we're like, dude, we tried to like help him. We're like, you can't be doing this. Like we tried telling people. We
Mhm.
offered to, like, you need to fucking talk to a psychiatrist, and he's like. He lied to us. He said he was better, and then that night he was blackmailing girls with news that he bought from them. I was like,
That's a sick fuck.
"It is. He's a
horrible
piece of
person.
shit."
Yeah.
And I knew the girl who he did it to, and my other friend was like really close friends with her. She texted him like, "I don't know what the fuck to do." And I had just gotten me and him went to a bar. We talked. We hashed some things out, and then that night he was like doing this shit. I'm like, "Dog, this is why we're not friends with you anymore. Like,
There's like
you're fucked
something
up."
very wrong.
Mentally there's something wrong there.
That's like psychopath.
That is,
behavior.
it's psychotic.
Like you're
So it's like a sociopath.
blackmailing. Yeah. Some people are so fucked in the head. That's the one that keeps the OnlyFans girls paid.
Yeah, he spent thousands of dollars on girls.
I can't believe that people actually subscribe to girls' OnlyFans. I've never in my life thought of paying a girl to see them naked.
They don't. I think what it is it's not just a random girl. It's someone they know. That's what it is. If it's someone they know, or they think they have a like personal relationship with in some way, they're like schizo in a way.
Like they form a parasocial.
Yes, they're
relationship.
parasocial relationships.
Yeah, that's another. People that have like parasocial relationships with celebrities. Like
VTubing is real popular with some parasocial relationships. One of my
You
favorite
got some
VTuber.
parasocial relationships with VTubers.
Look, I don't dive into him that far. One of my favorite VTubers, Udo Harushi, was with Hololive.
Admitted guilt.
But here's the thing: some people took it way further than me. She was on stream one night, and then a Discord notification popped up, and it was from a guy saying like, "Hey, I'll be home soon. It's gonna play games or something." And people lost their fucking minds. They
Because it,
went crazy. They're like, "She's with a guy," and they were just friends. They were just playing a game, and she was trying to like explain the situation, and she said something to break an NDA, and they fired her. I'm like, you pieces of shit in your parasocial relationships pretty much got her fired because you were so fucking butthurt. You thought you had a chance with her. I'm like, oh, it's so
and
frustrating.
if it's a VTuber, it's an animated.
Yeah.
So we gotta explain like the people that don't know what a VTuber
Yeah,
is.
VTuber is like a 2D, a rigged character. They can kind of move around.
It's like
camera motion.
a cute anime girl character
Yeah.
usually.
And they just stream games. They're streamers.
Yeah.
And then people form these parasocial relationships.
That convince them that they're real and they're
Yeah, that they have a chance with them. Because the one thing, although it was her fan base was kind of formed around that. Her shtick was like the fake girlfriend type deal, like yandere fake girlfriend type thing. And I guess people really latched onto that. They didn't realize that she was just acting and streaming.
I just how
I don't know, dude. It's
I feel bad for those. Like, you gotta be so like lonely and probably never kissed a girl or held
you
their
probably
hand, like-
haven't done anything.
I feel low key bad for him, but at the same time, like it's your fault. Like, go fucking get out there and do something.
Yeah.
Like, you're the creep that sees a girl and fucking creams your own pants. Like, it's not you.
Not
dude.
even like it's an anime character.
Yeah, it's
I
not
mean,
even real.
I'm a fucking weeaboo hardcore. Like, look at this shit.
You got some waifus.
I have lots of
I do
like
too.
if they could see these flags on the walls, there's a life-size cardboard cutout of an
You guys
anime
would never
girl over
watch
there.
this again.
Yeah, like
You would shit on.
I'm really far down the rabbit hole, but I mentally know that all this shit is just drawings and figures.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna form an actual relationship with this shit. And I understand VTubers are acting. They're streaming for entertainment purposes.
But some anime girls do be getting me bricked up.
Bro, most get me bricked
It's
up.
not cap here.
I'm not capping at all.
I gotta remind myself, not fucking real. And that pisses me off because I wish they were. But yeah, like there's a lot of people that form those bonds with celebrities too. Like, do you ever like the people that convince themselves that they're in a relationship with a celebrity?
Yeah,
That's crazy. Or like they like a fake Instagram account starts messaging them, and it's obviously fake, but they're convincing themselves that that's like Justin Bieber.
Yeah.
Like, why would Justin Bieber be asking you for money for his plane ticket? You know what I mean? Like,
It's
You
crazy
gotta-
how some people
come
fall for
on.
that.
like there's got to be something going on that like makes you rationalize. It's not just your stupidity.
You just probably have a lack of social interaction and physical interaction.
I wonder if they're like, I don't know, like something like mentally, like legitimately wrong with them to
There
not
might-
be able to pick up on.
There might be
Like how I think is it autistic people have a hard time picking up on humor.
like social cues and stuff.
Yeah, social cues. Like I wonder if they have something similar, just not autism. Like it could be something.
I know a few people who have a really hard time like reading the room.
Yes.
I find that crazy. Like if
I'm
things
hyper
feel
aware.
weird, yeah, I feel hyper aware. Like I'm always
Which is not always good.
looking at people's reactions. Like, would this be okay to say, or like,
Yeah.
okay, it's time to shut up about this thing. I can very obviously tell it's making X
Does this
person
person still want to
uncomfortable.
talk to me? Like,
Yeah.
what direction are their feet facing?
Yep. How can I end this interaction without coming off as a dick? Or
Yeah.
do they want to end this interaction? Do they think I'm carrying on too long? Some people don't pick up on that at all.
Yeah, which helps them. Like I think it kind of helps them because like they're not in their head. They don't.
It might, but it can also
It can also
backfire.
hurt
Where
'em,
like
yeah.
you want maybe that person just goes on forever, and you want to avoid that person because you don't want to talk. There's one guy at the gym. He's an older dude. He's real nice. Like, don't get me wrong, but if he comes up to me and starts talking, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be here for a little bit. I'm like, I just want to do my shit and go.
Yeah,
Occasionally, I'll just see him, and we'll just like give a fist bump and walk by. That's fine.
don't make eye contact.
I know. I
That,
try.
like,
I try and
initiates.
avoid it.
Yeah, that's like an initiation for people to like come.
I kind of feel bad because I'm like, I like talking to people, but
Yeah, but you're at the gym to get shit done. Like
Yeah.
people got to know that. Like you can't go 20 minutes between
Mhm.
a set because that's diminishing your workout.
yeah, I just want to
You're
do
building
my
up
shit.
lactic acid and you want to work out and get the most out of it.
Exactly.
That's fine. I just tell him like, hey, dude, get the fuck out of here, you fucking moron, you piece of shit, you scumbag.
Hey, you
fuck.
shitbag, leave me alone.
Yeah,
I'm
Yeah.
making gains. You're losing gains.
yeah, get fucked.
Quit yapping.
Yeah, yapper.
Fucking yapper.
Yeah, that's what you should tell him, and then
I
give him the.
You're like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Walk away. Just ignore him.
Then he's gonna go rats.
He's gonna
Curse.
go. He's gonna go. What the fuck is wrong with that guy?
Never talking to that guy again. But yeah, I see what you're saying. Like, but I think there's a fine balance. I think that maybe we are a little too in our head sometimes about like, I don't know, social interaction.
Probably.
But I think I am like, sometimes, like if I'm talking to somebody I'm not like comfortable with or I don't know, like instead of listening to what they're saying, I'm just observing their
Yeah.
body language and their. That's not what we should be doing.
And then you can't really focus. You have to say something back to them, but you don't know.
Oh, I
You
say
didn't
like,
pick up
that's
with it.
crazy.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where, and then they're looking at you like, what's he talking about? And then you're in your head like, fuck, what I say, what I fuck up.
Have you
what
ever talked to someone and you didn't quite hear what they said? So you respond with like a yeah,
And
then
it
they're like,
wasn't.
what?
I hate-
I'm like, fuck, dude, I
makes me
missed
like-
it. I missed the cue.
It gives me secondhand embarrassment, like thinking about it. It's happened so many times. Like they'll ask me, say that okay, so like they'll make a statement like yeah, what did you think about the Indians game? Like, yeah,
What?
they're just like they look at you like what? You're just like fuck, like what did I say?
I also hate hesitating on certain things that I say. I'll start to say something, and then maybe I'll stop, and then it'll just cut off, and it won't make any sense. And the other person's
I do
like,
that,
what?
man.
And I'm like, fuck, dude, I just shot myself in the foot.
Yeah.
Or I'll mix up a word. I'll think one word, and I'll say another, but I'll combine them.
And you catch it later on in your head.
Yeah.
I do that.
Well, I'm like, wait, that wasn't even a word.
Yeah.
Why did I?
I must look like a moron now. We're just in our head, man. Some people just. That's where I think that the charisma comes from. For some people, they just don't care.
I think it's pretty good to not care.
But I think there's a
To
point
an
where
extent, yeah.
where you gotta be like, all right, like this is obviously not working out here. Like guys that don't pick up on like girls that aren't into them, and they.
I've only like gone up to one girl and asked her out, like, ever. Physically, I've only done it once.
That's intimidating.
It is. I got shot down. But
That's why you only did it once.
But I went up. I was like, I just asked if you had a boyfriend. She said, yeah. I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. Walked away.
What setting were you in?
I was at Pulp. She was working.
Ooh.
But I've been asked out at work before, so I'm like, it can't be that weird. Like, I don't
At
mind it.
Spencer's while somebody's buying a dodo.
No, they weren't buying a dodo. I've actually been asked out twice at Spencer's.
I think I bought a pocket pussy from him when I was like 18.
Probably did.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
You're welcome. I had to take tests. Yeah, I knew what I was talking about.
I think I asked, does this one work better than this one? How does this one feel?
I always like making people. There would always be kids who come in and they'd be like, they'd be with their friends and they'd be like, okay, you lost, but you have to go ask the employee and go to the back. And kids would come up and I'd be like, okay, yeah, let's go. And I would take them to the back. I started explaining shit. They would be so uncomfortable. I loved every second of it.
You sick.
And I
fuck.
tried, or if someone, this is kind of mean. If someone was buying something, like, I didn't give a shit if they were buying any sex stuff. It didn't bother me at all. Like, I wasn't judging them. But if I could tell someone was a little nervous,
Give him a look.
I wouldn't give them a look. We usually had to try and upsell batteries. And I would usually omit that because I'm like, you're trying to buy your thing. Get out of here. Like, I understand. If someone was nervous, I would push the batteries hard. I'd try and keep them there. I'd be like, are you sure? Like, we have this water-based cleaner, too. Like, you might want
Ooh.
this. That's mean, but it was always so much fun.
They probably remember that to this day.
They probably do. Like, dude, this guy kept me there. He was asking me all these
I had
questions.
I had to buy my friend one. We were all together, all of our friends, and he was too scared to get one, so I
Was
had
he?
to.
That's why you bought it?
hmm Yeah, I didn't buy one.
No, I didn't buy one for myself. No
Dude,
way.
that wasn't for me.
Uh-uh.
But yeah, no, he was too scared to buy it. So he I don't even think it was for him. I think it was a birthday present for like one of our friends. It was like a prank.
A
maybe,
lot of
or
people
like
bought them as, like, gag gifts
yeah,
and stuff.
and he was too scared to do it, so I had to buy it.
There were a lot of girls that came in. I could always tell the strippers because they were extremely, like, confident, not weird about
Yeah.
buying lingerie and stuff. So I could always tell when, like, a stripper was in there.
I don't know. It's just weird to like buy that stuff from people.
I don't find
What if you knew like
I
what if-
originally found it weird. Now I don't give a fuck.
What if you walked into like a sex store and you bought like a dildo for your girlfriend and the person that was behind the counter you went to high school with? Is that not like a nightmare scenario for you?
No.
Because they're gonna think the dildo's going in your butt.
Well, but they're working in a sex store.
Ooh, that's a good point.
It's like they can judge you. It's like, okay, well, you're working in a sex store.
you suck.
It's not like they suck. It's like you have no room to judge.
No, that's pretty bad, man. If your job is working.
Hey, I
don't
low key
wanna-
worked in a Spencer's.
Yeah,
they
but you were
sell
like
sexual
12.
items. I was 18.
That's different. If you're like 30 and you're fucking selling butt plugs, like come on.
Look, if someone has to secure the bag, they can
you
secure
ain't
the
secure,
bag.
you're securing like $11.
Maybe that's
an
all they
hour.
got. Maybe that's a last resort.
You're better than that.
I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
There's nothing wrong with it. It's just like
And most employees in the stores are, from my experience, generally pretty cool and chill and laid back.
I feel like that's something you lie about to your family.
That is definitely
Like if
something
you're at like
you
a
lie about.
Thanksgiving dinner and they're like,
Like,
how's
have
work?
you ever been down Cleveland Avenue and next to the Fishers, there's an adult mart?
Yep.
If you work there, you're not saying, "Oh yeah, I work at adult mart." You're probably saying like, oh, "I work in retail."
Got a sale on sex dolls if you're interested.
I work in retail.
Yeah. It's just I don't know. It's just like a stripper. Like I'd be embarrassed to like tell my family like, yeah, I'm busting my ass naked in front of random people.
Yeah.
That's like, don't do that. Like I don't want to. It's just I don't know. It's like a gross job to me.
Yeah, I think it is. I know one girl who used to come to our shows a lot was a stripper. It seems like that is such. I mean, maybe some people like it. Maybe they really enjoy it, and that's fine. But from what I've seen that she's posted on her stories and stuff, it just seems like such a mentally degrading and draining job.
100%. You're being
And she-
degraded by men on a daily basis.
Yeah, and like at first she was like all about it and like, oh, cool, like good for you, whatever. And then over time it was just like she hated it, became very depressed. I'm like, that seems rough.
Yeah, it seems like
Seems
hell.
pretty rough.
Just get a job at a factory,
Yeah,
like, or McDonald's.
I don't even get strip clubs are an anomaly to me.
They're not enjoyable.
I've been twice and I hated it every time.
You got to be so down bad.
It was awful.
You could be down cataclysmic to go to a strip club and like enjoy it.
Yeah,
I mean, unless you're with your homies, like getting drunk and not like paying attention, like you're just hanging out. I guess it's cool, but there's like guys that go there solely to like get bricked up around other men.
yeah, I don't get it. It's very
Like,
strange to me.
You got a boner around guys. You're gay.
Bro, it's expensive as fuck.
Yeah.
First and foremost, I cannot fathom just throwing money at people.
People form parasocial relationship. I
Yeah.
know personally a guy I worked with at my last job would always tell me about the strippers and how much they liked him and how he would talk about like their dogs and their life, and I was like,
How do you not realize, A, they're being paid to do that, and B, they're guaranteed they're lying to you
So
about every
he
aspect
totally
of their life.
thought that this was a two-way street.
That's what's scary.
Yep. And that's like that gets like creepy, like
Yeah,
for the
like,
girl.
That could be very dangerous for the girl.
100%. And that happened with there's somebody we work with currently that believes that. They go to strip clubs like all the time.
I think I know who you're talking
Yep,
about.
and they think that they have a friendship, like a close like relationship with the girl.
If you stop feeding them money, they're not going to give a fuck about you anymore.
Yeah.
Their job is to be friends with you.
Yes. And they get in their head that like they have a legitimate like there's not like 30 other people that come in there every day and
Mm-hmm.
say the same
Like,
thing.
what do you think's going on when you're not there?
What if they get mad if I like, hey, guess what? like
Maybe
she's
they
stuck
do.
another week. Like what? I didn't know this. This is blasphemy. Like you know it. It's just I don't know. Humans are interesting.
They form very weird. There's a lot of mental gymnastics that a lot
Yeah.
of people go through.
That's a good way to put it. I like that. I
It's
picture like my
actually
brain.
first
being
first place I heard mental gymnastics was from South Park.
like, South Park.
It's
is
like
teaching.
Cartman's mental gymnastics.
Is there any conspiracy theories that we're leaving out that we were supposed to get to?
I think I had something in my notes.
feel like we're missing
Might have been
something.
kind of old, I'm not going to lie.
Because we have like a billion topics we didn't touch on. I know I have.
I
a whole
deleted
bunch.
most of them, I'm not even going to front with you.
I got a bunch.
Oh, this one was.
Oh, very interesting picture I wanted to show you.
Oh,
I took a screenshot of it. So, there was a SCIF. I can't remember what SCIF stands for. It's like
What's it?
secure, confidential, something.
with a K.
You know, David Grush wanted a SCIF with Congress. I can't remember what SCIF stands for, but it's supposed to be
Yeah, I know
secure.
what you mean.
I guess there was a SCIF. And this document may have come out of this SCIF. It's dated January 12th, 2024. And
We need a Jamie to like show the audience.
I know someone back here with a computer
Yeah.
can just Google shit all the time. But we got to do it on our phones because we're poor. don't
We
have
broke.
employees. So some of it's cut off. You can see not all of it's there. But this reads January 12th, 2024. Number 1. Confirmed that the United States government has recovered human intelligence, NHI, both physical specimens of biological something, technology from crash sites, both within the outside of the United States. That's cut off again. Number 2. The U.S. government's first involvement with NHI was in the late 1940s. Number 3. There is strong evidence that the recovered NHI came from other civilizations outside of our solar system. Number 4. The recovered NHI technology varies from one NHI to another NHI. There are at least 5 entirely different technologies. The biologies are also different. All recovered NHI specimens are extremely different from human biologics. Humans have been killed and injured from NHI biologics and technologies. Nothing further, no more questions were answered. Supposedly that came out of the SCIF.
Is there any like evidence that, or just like a?
I don't know, it was just that. I don't know if there's anything to back this up. I don't know.
Well, let's
Whole
just
lot.
assume that it's real for now. We'll play that's real game. That's
That's
I mean
big.
that's like the only thing that would make me suspicious of that is all those extremely important points being put in such a small section of a document. You know what I mean? Like you think that
Oh, maybe there was a lot.
maybe there's like 300 of them, but I just mean like that's like a lot of the relevant stuff that we've been talking about
Or maybe
Okay.
that was
in that community.
just the notes being taken by one person that
Yeah.
they found important.
So I wish that we could get like a confirmation on that, but for now, let's just say it's real. Totally believe it.
I would totally believe it.
Like I would, yeah, like the non-human biologics I've heard from Grush himself. I think Grush or Grush.
I say Grush.
I don't know what it
Grush.
is.
I say Grush. David Grush.
Mr. David. Yeah, I've heard him say that, and I've heard Bob Lazar and all the other like big speakers on that subject bring up that. I want to see what they look like. What does like an intelligent form, an intelligent species outside of humans look like? Do they look similar?
There's supposed to be a lot of them, multiple species.
Do they look like bizarrely, like crazily
I
different?
don't know.
Like is one like, do they have 2 arms and legs? Like you know, I've never seen an alien with like multiple arms and legs,
It would
3 or more.
be maybe a little weird to think that they look humanoid.
Like a biblically accurate angel.
Sure.
That'd be
Not that, but to think that they would look humanoid because, life can evolve in a lot of different ways. I mean, we came from fucking fish,
yeah.
and here we are, bipedal, pretty much hairless. Like, I wonder, their circumstances could have been totally different, or they could have been very similar to Earth.
I wonder like their senses. Like, do they have sight,
Right.
taste, smell? Like, what do they have that we don't? What do they not have?
Can
that we
they
do?
speak? Do they have language?
Do they? Yeah. How do they have telepathy? Like,
Did they have completely evolve in a different way?
and if they so say that they are different in that manner, how do you communicate with them? How do we form an agreement like we've heard in documents before? How do you form an agreement with an alien civilization that doesn't operate on the same system as you? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
they're alien. They're so alien. Like, how do you?
It's like, how do you teach a language to a fucking dog?
Yeah, that doesn't understand.
They're not gonna get it.
So how do they? I don't know.
Telepathy is a very popular thing. I've heard that a lot.
Yeah, I think. I wonder if humans have it, because there's so many cases of like people communicating telepathically and like documented
Weird instance today. Me and Alex.
twins.
Yeah.
This is
maybe
in-
that
I'm-
twin telepathy
Yep,
thing.
I buy into this one.
He was checking some axles this morning, and I was on the clipboard, and I pre-wrote down what he said to a T.
That's weird.
Exactly.
Does that happen often for you since you guys are?
Not really. At least not that I pick up on. But everything he wrote down, I already had it written down. I was like, that's kind of goofy, dude. He was like, that is fucking weird.
That is interesting. That happened to me on psychedelics with one of my friends. Like we both thought the exact same thing at the exact same time and saw the same thing at the same time. He's like, "Do you see that?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "What is it?" I told him what it was, and he's like, "Yeah, that's exactly what I see." Like I totally believe him. Like it was very bizarre. Like he had the same like.
That one, I don't know if we're going to play devil's advocate. I feel like he asked you if you saw something. Maybe you only started to see something because he said that. And vice versa. You're like, oh, well, it looks like this. And he's like,
I was
yeah, it does
staring
look
at this
like
thing
that.
before he said it. I remember very, very distinctly. Like it looked like almost, how do I explain that? It was like a girl in like a, not a kimono, but like a ancient, like an ancestor.
Have you ever seen
like
like a Chinese dress?
kinda.
Traditional
It
Chinese
was
dress?
like an ancestral dressing. Like it was a girl.
It was very like elegant and
Yeah, like
big
an elegant, like ghostly girl, like dancing, and he saw the same thing. Like he described it to me, like, exactly what I saw, and I was looking at it, like, because he caught me staring at like the corner, and he's like, "Do you see that?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then we described to each other what we saw. It was like the exact same thing, and he wouldn't like lie about it. Like we were both staring at the same thing. Like we were both staring at the same area at the same time,
Mhm.
without realizing that like one was looking at something. You know what I mean? Before eventually we turned to each other and were like, "Hey, what are you looking at?"
Where are you at on the ghost spectrum? Are you a believer, non-believer?
Not
I
a
do
believer.
not believe in ghosts.
I don't either. And people get mad
Thank
at me
you.
for that. They
People
very
get mad at me for that. That's one that like you get shit for. Like people get pissed.
Yeah.
I do not believe in ghosts.
I think it's so crazy to believe in ghosts.
Yes. And like okay, people say, "Well, you've never like ventured out to have an experience." I tried so hard.
I did too. I tried so many times.
I'm talking crazy shit to have a paranormal like experience of any kind. I went on a haunted tour overnight in the Maslin Haunted Theater. I had what are those things that they use to pick up voices? I can't remember the name. EEGs or
EV,
EVs. I think it's called EV.
EVP, electronic
EVP.
voice phenomenon.
We use that, Ouija boards, things I'm not even going to mention on this podcast because it would make me sound like a fucking weirdo.
Dowsing rods?
No.
No dowsing rods?
No.
Could be weirder.
It was we'll say satanic. It was
Like pentagrams and shit?
no. I'll tell you off camera. I was bad.
Sacrificed?
No, I wouldn't say technically, but it was a sacrifice of my own. Okay, I was 15 years old.
You drew your own blood or something?
I wrote like a
Incantation.
incantation in my own blood because I was fucked in that. I had a traumatic life.
Sorry,
growing
you
up.
wanted something to happen.
I'm far beyond that point in my life. Well, I was like 14 or 15. Yeah, like I did some like wild shit. I had a book on witchcraft and not like what are they, like spells and casting and stuff like that. And like I would like collect like weird items and combine them when I was like I was fucking weird. But anyways, what I'm trying to say is A, I was weird, but B, I put effort into, you know what I mean? Like I wasn't just like, yeah, they don't exist.
Yeah, nothing. No experience.
Nothing.
That's why I find it all bullshit.
Yeah, me too.
I think people want to believe in something, and then
They
they do. They tell themselves it's real.
The TV
Any-
shuts off on its own and it's a ghost.
Any little noise, like, did you hear that creaking? Did you hear that voice? Can you make that voice out on this EVP? And then they put subtitles on it. They're like, see,
Mental-
you hear it.
Mental
There it
gymnastics,
is.
Anthony.
It is.
Yeah, you trick yourself, and your brain can 100% convince you that if you believe something, like we know what placebo effect and how effective that is. You can convince yourself that something is happening that's not, or you're hearing something that you're not. Like
Yeah.
you ever hear like somebody call your name,
Oh, yeah.
but there's nobody calling your name. Like you would swear that somebody called your name,
Or you feel your phone vibrate. You're like, I just got a message. But you check
Yeah.
it, and there's nothing there.
but a person that believes in ghosts would say, "A ghost is here and he called my name."
I hate psychics. I've been to...
They piss me off. Tarot card readers too.
I've met two psychics. I've had one do a reading on me. I went to the Mansfield Reformatory, and they were doing a psychic reading there. This lady was spewing such fucking bullshit. It was unreal. Everyone there was like, bro, she's full of shit. Anyway, no experience in Mansfield. And then I went to this place called the Shanley Hotel in New York. It's supposed to be very haunted. Spent the night there. There was another psychic medium there. And they were taking us around the tours and all these things. They're like, the flashlight shut off. I'm like, okay, that's stupid. But it was later in the night. It was me, my brother, my friend Kyle, and this psychic were up. It was like 3 a.m. We were the only ones up. And he was talking to us and spewing a bunch of bullshit. And he had dowsing rods and he gave them to Kyle. And he's like, look, the ghost is trying to talk to you. And we're like, bro. Well, we kind of believed him at the time. We were like, oh, this guy's kind of cool. He was like, yeah, I'll send you dowsing rods. And then never heard from him again. Nothing happened in the Shanley. I didn't have an experience. No one I know had an experience. Well, one person claimed to, but they're also very into ghosts and spirits. So I'm like, oh, it's convenient.
Mm-hmm.
I was up literally all night. Nothing.
Yeah, it always happens with the people that believe beforehand.
It does.
I've been to so many haunted, like abandoned buildings that were haunted, and like went to the basements at night with like friends or just you know what you do when you're a kid, stupid shit like that. Nothing, because I don't believe it.
Yeah.
But like you're saying, like I know people that like I was friends with that believed it, like believed in the paranormal, and just by chance, I felt something grab my shoulder. Why didn't I?
Yeah. I went to a place in think Pennsylvania. I said, put me in this room, sit me in this chair. I want to be in here alone. I'm seeing if anything happens. Not a fucking thing happened.
And it's always like weird. If I was a ghost, I would do some like weird shit. You know what I mean? Like I'd
Fuck
fuck
yeah.
with somebody like hardcore.
I'd like punch him in the mouth.
Yeah.
I'd beat the shit out of him.
Yeah. Like,
I'd like
I'd do
throw
some-
things around and say like, "Hey, fuck you, asshole."
Yeah, I wouldn't open a door. Like, how boring. Imagine being a ghost. How boring would your life be? Like, you get to flick on some lights and.
Well, I guess it requires, according to like psychics and stuff like that, it requires a lot of spiritual energy.
Bro, move on
to
with your
move
life if I'm a
anything.
ghost then. Like, move on with your
Like-
life. Like,
You died. What are you still here for?
you're like the sex store worker of, like, the human. Like,
Yeah.
fuck it. Do something else.
Go do something.
Go enjoy, like, whatever the fuck is out there.
And a lot of photos are like, it's an orb. I'm like, it could be just fucking speck of dust.
Speck of dust or, like, a camera issue.
There could be so many things.
Well, yeah, it's
Paranormal
so
stuff is,
cringe.
yeah, I find it to be pretty cringe.
Yeah, and that's a hot take.
It is a hot take.
Like, a majority.
People who have experiences are so against people telling them that what they experienced was just them, their mind playing a
Mhm.
trick on them. They're like, no, I had this experience.
Yeah, a lot of people that I know personally that have had experiences are also mentally ill. They have bipolarism, depression. There's just like something's not healthy. It's very interesting that like so many of them are mentally unstable, mentally ill, or they have an addiction problem. Or,
There is one clip that my friend sent me that I don't have an explanation for. It's very weird. The place he previously lived, his grandpa. Well, I don't know if it has anything to do with his grandpa, but I think it does. I kind of think it sounded like him. He died in that house, and then he moved out of there, and his aunt moved in. And she was filming, I think, packing up boxes or something to send to her sisters because they're all really close. And you can hear a voice, like, very vividly say, like, hey. And I thought it kind of sounded like his grandpa. That's the only one I cannot really explain. It
That is
does
interesting.
sound, it's weird. It's very weird.
it could also
can't
be like
explain it.
I don't know, like a undiscovered like feature of the universe where like there was
Like another dimension.
yeah, or like there was energy like in the house before, and maybe I don't know, it's like a glitch in the program. Like, how you get like deja vu. I don't know.
That one's weird. I can't explain it. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
there are some like
it
weird
doesn't make
things.
me believe in ghosts by any means.
No. I'm on the same page, and I'm happy that I can talk to somebody that feels the same way, because I don't know anybody else that doesn't believe in
Yeah,
ghosts.
most people I know do very much believe in ghosts. And I'm a nutcase for like all cryptozoology stuff and paranormal stuff.
I don't believe in
all that
cryptos. Yeah,
stuff.
I enjoy it. Do you believe in like cryptids?
Depends on what it is.
Name a cryptid you believe in. You don't have to like wholeheartedly believe it. But, like, what do you?
My friend's dad said he did see the Jersey Devil.
What's the Jersey Devil?
You don't know the Jersey Devil?
No,
You got to expand your cryptid knowledge.
I'm not super versed on cryptids.
It's just supposedly the story behind the Jersey Devil is back in like the 1600s or 1700s. This lady living in New Jersey, on like their little farmstead or what the fuck ever, had a pretty big family, and she was having another kid. And she supposedly exclaimed, "If I have this one, then I hope it's a devil." And supposedly it came out as a devil, killed like some kids, and ran off into the woods, and that's where it resides.
Why did it all happen back then?
Everything happened back
You ever notice
then.
that? Like,
Yep.
everything happened.
Nothing weird like
before
that happens nowadays.
Ever. Why? Because there's cameras and there's proof and evidence
Yep.
that, like, oh man, I'm reading the Bible and everything about it.
The
The
fuck-
burning bush. The
I say that, and I want to talk to someone about. But the thing is, with people who believe in like the Bible very strongly, they always have some. It's always faith. It's I have faith this happened. It's like
that's their scapegoat.
it is.
Yeah.
It's such an easy cop out.
You know what we need? We need somebody on here that we can debate, like that's religious, or even like a priest or like somebody that knows. Because you can't just bring somebody random on here that doesn't know anything about religion.
Yeah,
Like, we should have a debate. That'd be interesting to hear from them.
yeah. I mean, I went to private school pretty much my whole life. You went to private school. I was at church every
I
fucking
was raised,
Sunday.
yeah, we were raised both religious.
Yeah, so I've been in it a long time.
Like, I knew at maybe 9 years old that I wasn't religious, but at the time it's so scary to like tell your family that? I didn't tell them until I was like
I
14.
didn't tell my family. I still
Oh.
haven't told them.
Really? So do
Yeah.
they think that you're still?
I mean, I very obviously I don't go to church. I haven't been to church in a very long time.
Well,
I don't know what they think. I'm not going to ask them about it.
Say you told your mom that you don't believe in God.
I think
Would
that
she be
might-
surprised?
I I think that would be a bad idea. I think it'd be a very bad
So
idea.
do you think that like she lives in like the mind state that you and Alex and like you guys are still? Does she go to church?
Yes, every week.
Your dad?
Yes.
Does he? I didn't know that.
But I think she would probably be in more so denial about it.
That's how my mom. I told my mom when I was like 16, something like that, and I got the "I'm disappointed in you," and that was traumatizing.
I think I would get the like, no more further discussion on this. So I choose to not talk about
Yeah.
that.
My mom is maybe a little more. And she's not gonna shut me down, I guess, but she did hurt my feelings, Mom. But definitely over time, I think that we came to more of an understanding, and even she, I believe, as she got older and I don't know, had more experiences, was on the same page as me. Just doesn't want to say it.
Hmm.
She stopped going to church. Like, I mean, they can believe whatever they want, but
Yeah, I don't really give a shit what other people believe. You can believe
it
whatever
sucks
the fuck
when
you
you.
want.
The truth is, like, it sucks having a religious family, like low key, like especially as a child, and you're not like into that. Like, cause I was forced to go to, like, for me at least, I was forced to go to Sunday school, church. I was miserable. Like, I dreaded that shit, and I had to sit there and put up with it. And I would ask like my Sunday school teachers basic questions, and they just look at me like, why? Like, they would like,
Why are you asking that?
well, they get mad.
don't
Miss
don't
Maher,
push the envelope here.
fucking St. Thomas.
Oh, I know her. She, this is the reason I didn't like really get out of religion until I was in high school. And I think the biggest reason for it was I had this project. And my topic, I do like a little report on in vitro fertilization. And according to the church, that's bad. But when I was reading about it, I was like, hey, this is kind of cool for people who can't get pregnant like naturally. Like, it gives them a way to have a child. And I presented my information in that way. And she hated that. She was very against that. And I was like, well, why? Like, this is great. And he gave me like a D or a C on it. And I was like, that doesn't make fucking sense.
Oh, I'd have beat the fuck. I'd be so mad.
I was like, this is an amazing advance in technology, and why are we shitting on this? It didn't make any sense to me.
And that was like I had like, like an awakening of like,
Yeah, and you start questioning more things. I'm like, well, like, if God is this great being who loves everybody, why do you guys hate gays so much? And why is every other religion wrong? Why are there so many
Yeah.
religions?
and why there's so many gods.
Yeah, like,
And-
this doesn't
and
make
the-
sense.
God, by definition, is the most narcissistic thing of all time.
Right, you just have to,
Worship nothing else except for me.
if you just look in the Bible, it's like,
Love me. And
God-
only me.
it's like, is he omnipotent? Or is he all powerful? Because there's this great paradox.
I like the paradox of
It's,
religion.
So if God is like all powerful and he creates an immovable object,
I love this one.
if God can't move the object, he's not all powerful. But in that same vein, if he cannot create an immovable object, he is also not all powerful. Therefore, he cannot be all powerful.
So then he couldn't have created the entire universe by his like. I did. It's the whole fuck. That paradox like ruins like God.
Yes, it does.
And like I've said that to religious people before, and they have no answer. They do the. They don't per se like maybe say like just have faith that he's all powerful. They give you
They
the.
ignore it.
They kind of ignore it and they'll redirect. There's so many things that you can bring up that they redirect or they.
It's like hell. Hell to me is very strange in religion.
Why does the devil punish people that do by him?
Why is there a hell in the first place? How is there a fallen angel?
Yeah.
And if someone, well, I like going back to the topic of gays, right? Because if God is supposed to love everybody, like, why doesn't he love gay people? Why are they banished to hell?
I do have a rebuttal. I don't know if like I don't think that in the Bible it was ever actually stated to like I don't know hate gay people. Like, I don't think that was ever. I feel like that was
I
almost made up by like
I think it's
misinterpreted.
I think it's kind of stated like a man should not lie with another man.
I think you're right. Now that
But
I think I have
even
heard
if it's
that.
not in the Bible, it is against the Catholic religion
Yeah,
to be gay.
it's against like almost all religions. I think it's fine to, like, yeah, you can disagree with it, like that's totally cool, but if you actively hate or dislike somebody because of their sexual preference, like there's something like you're not a good person probably.
Right.
Like that tells me a lot about you.
Or like natural disasters to me, or just people dying in general. So-
Child rape,
Yeah, well, it's like
child cancer.
if God wants the best for everybody and He's very loving, why do people fucking die in horrendous ways?
They'll say that's just a lesson. That's just to show you what. Like I get that a lot. Like it's a lesson basically.
That, how can you teach a newborn child a lesson when they haven't done anything?
Yeah. And if somebody was raised, so this is another paradox. You have to believe in God to make it into heaven. Like you have to worship Him, and that's how that works. If you're raised and you were never taught about God, is it a formality? You get into heaven? You never heard about Him.
It's
Like,
like
you
the-
didn't have the option to believe or not believe. Like you just get in there. That's not fair.
Yeah, that is not fair. If you never had access to like baptism, first communion, or confirmation, or any of the
How's that fair?
sacraments, you're just kind of SOL.
Yeah. Like, wait a minute.
None of it makes
But you were a
sense.
great person in every other aspect. Like you were never.
You helped people.
So you don't get into heaven because you didn't have the ability to know. I don't know. And if God created everything, then God created the thought of Himself not existing.
That's free will. God gave you free will. And then when they use the
Free will doesn't exist.
when they use the
I hate this. This is such a two-ended thing.
when something like people explain child rape, say child rape, like, well, that was that person's free will. They had free will to do that. God had nothing to do with that. And then you hear someone say, well, God has a plan for everybody. How you can't have free will if God has a plan for
Because
you.
when you pray, you're fucking His plan up.
Yeah.
Well, why are you fucking His rude? Why did you fuck His plan up?
Is it possible to have free will if there's already a predetermined plan for you? And why would God make a predetermined plan for a child to get fucking shot in the head or people
Molested.
to blow up in bombs or to die in a Holocaust?
Yeah.
Why would that be a thing? Why do people have to go through so much? If God died for our sins on the cross so we wouldn't have to bear that sin, why do people have to suffer throughout all their life? Why is that even
It
relevant?
doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't
Like, the whole
make any
Jesus
sense.
story doesn't make any sense. Like I remember seeing like Jesus was like a cosmic Jewish zombie who killed himself for himself to save himself. Like it's bizarre.
Yeah.
Like why? Why would you do that?
Why would he impregnate a 13-year-old girl?
That too.
That's fucking weird.
Adam and Eve, we're all siblings, or we're all born from incest.
Yeah,
Then.
it's incest.
Yeah, that's not cool. It's
No,
not cash
it's
money.
Why would he create Satan?
Yeah, like come on. Why would he create pedophiles? You know what I mean? Like that's his creation. He created
Yeah.
everything. That's fucked up,
That is fucked
and
up.
it's his plan. It's just the whole
Or like
thing.
people killing in the name of religion, not just like terrorist and extremism. Like look at the fucking Crusades.
hmm
The children's crusade is a thing. They sent children to Israel to go fucking capture it. Thousands of children died,
In the name of religion.
and yeah. Or the Spanish Inquisition's like, if you don't believe in this, well, we're gonna fucking kill you.
Thou shall not kill,
Yeah.
unless. Why is that?
It's like you can. You're
Well,
not allowed to kill, but if you're killing in the name of religion,
hypothetically.
it's totally fine.
yeah. It's I don't know. It's all just it collapses in on itself. Everything about religion, but people
Find security in
they
it.
find security in it. And I think that it is beneficial for some people, like people in my family. They get, especially when you're older and you're closer to death, I think that fear starts to take over and you need something. Death is horrifying. Like, if you really think about it, like, yeah, like, it's like, oh, yeah, we're going to die.
Yeah.
No, like, if there's no after this,
What
This
is
is-
there?
this is it. Like, you're never going to see your family again. You're never going to see your friends again. Like, they're not going to exist for eternity. Like, that's horrifying. Like, you're not going to experience anything ever again.
And all you know is this.
That's That's
It's like everything you know is going to be gone one day.
like you're gonna be in the infinite void forever. But then at the same time, the universe cannot create nor destroy energy, so everything that made you you will still be floating around in the universe.
I don't buy into it per se, but if there was one form of afterlife, I kind of want it to be reincarnation.
Do you want it to be reincarnation on planet Earth, or do you want it to be a multiverse
I
reincarnation? If that's
haven't
a
even
thing?
thought about that.
I-
I've just thought about it on Earth, and the way I thought about it was there's a finite number
Earth is mid.
of souls, right? And so the reason there's more people is because we are getting rid of like plants and animals. So therefore more people can be born, and that takes up more soul space. And so it's just kind of this repeating cycle of this finite number of souls. You are in a number, and then chances are you'll be reborn as a person because more animals are dying off, more plants are going away. Those are all souls, maybe.
Do you think consciousness is fundamental to the universe?
Consciousness is weird to me.
It's just a problem that I like fought my brain over.
Like, are animals conscious? Are plants conscious?
Yes, but I would say yes, but there's levels to it. I think that like things that we don't even think about being conscious or conscious, they don't have thought patterns. Is consciousness fundamental to the universe, or is the universe fundamental to consciousness? So, if there was no such thing as consciousness, would the universe exist technically? Like that's the question that will fuck you up.
It does fuck me up because I have
like,
no way
no.
to even.
Like my intuition says no, because if there's nothing to, like, it can't.
Like, what develops consciousness? How does?
Yeah.
Why do we think the way we do? Why didn't other things do this?
The scientific reason is because it was evolutionarily helpful. So if you were conscious, you can make better decisions about being alive and not dying.
I feel like animals do that though. Like they have.
They're
They
conscious.
have instincts. And
Yeah, but I think maybe it was a like a helper. Like it was more beneficial to be self-aware than to not be.
do you think it could have gone that far because we evolved from like monkeys and apes? They were more. How do I put this? They are better adapted at evolving. Like they're very functional. Can have like opposable thumbs. They can use their arms in more ways. 'Cause I was watching this documentary today on Neanderthals, how we learned to be bipedal. It is when you are bipedal versus on all four.
That's when they like both sexes, right?
No. Way to make a joke out of it.
Gigantic Picatus was bisexual.
But when you stand upright, you disperse heat more. Therefore, like, your body doesn't overheat. You can cool off better. So it's like, oh, I feel better when I stand up, so I'm going to stand up more. And you discover,
Feel the breeze on my balls.
yeah, you look and you realize, well, say it's like Loki training a dog. When it goes to the bathroom, it gets a treat. When, say, like an ape used a rock to do something in a way, they're like, oh, that made it significantly easier.
I
get
reward out of
reward.
it.
Yeah, I get rewarded for doing this thing, so I'm going to keep doing that. And everyone else started picking up on it, and maybe that was the formation of consciousness, of thought. And maybe like other animals didn't do that because they weren't equipped to do it, whereas apes
It wasn't
could go
beneficial.
bipedal. Apes did have opposable thumbs, and it gave them an advantage physically, and therefore it gave them an advantage mentally.
If an ape jacks off another ape with its foot, is that a foot job or a hand job?
That's a foot job. Well, no, that's a foot job.
They got hands for feet.
They do got hands for feet.
Sorry, I'm having intrusive thoughts over here. Back to your thing. Yeah, I get what you're saying. We're more, I don't know, apes were more set up for what we are now.
Yeah.
But consciousness is just such a hot topic. Like
it
that fucks me up. Like, what was I gonna say? Well, my brain is starting to get fried.
I know.
I'm chugging along. Let me think here. Oh, I feel like I'm on the Jeopardy clock. Yeah. It's not a good song. Anyways, if consciousness, okay, so I think maybe there's another theory that consciousness is like one. I picked up what I was thinking. Thanks for the Jeopardy.
You're welcome.
is like one entity, and we're all tuned into a frequency, and that's what gives us our individual consciousness.
You have to turn that dial a little bit to tune in.
Yeah, like we're all, man, this one fucks me up, but I felt this on psychedelics. Like every time everybody does a psychedelic, they feel the same fucking thing. We're all connected. Like you feel like that's not like a stereotype. Like you have a feeling, like you feel that. There's no way to explain it except for feeling it. But like is consciousness one thing, and we're all just given a slice of it, like a slice of one entity, like we're
Mhm.
the same, like you know what I mean? It's such a I don't know a lot about it, but I don't know, it just fascinates me to think about like what it is, because we have no idea.
It is. I have a lot of questions, and I don't think I'll ever get answers to them.
Yeah. Well, we'll touch on a lot more topics in next week's
Yeah.
podcast, but our brains are like,
Fried.
you can tell we're
It's
cooked.
been
Yeah.
3 hours.
Yeah, we went for a while.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll catch you guys next week on the Stuck at the Airport podcast.
Please like and subscribe. We need it. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
share with your friends.
Yeah.
Catch you.
Fuck the cop, fuck the vote, fuck the motherfucking law, fuck the knock.